slate of games last week. We're looking to pick up right where we left off. Week 6 kicks off tonight with a stellar matchup between two of the best in the West. The Stamps handed the Bombers their first loss of the season a week ago, and now they hope to do the same to the CFL's only unbeaten team left. That would be the Roughriders.
Adams Jr., everything these Calgary Stampeders hoped he would be when they signed him in free agency. Lights out on second down. Vernon Adams is carrying his team.
And before his injury, Trevor Harris was 72%, the highest pass completion in the CFL, and now he returns with this explosive offense and a perfect Saskatchewan Roughriders team.
Doing his yoga.
Dedrick Mills needs 5 yards tonight to get to 2,500 in his career. Leads the CFL in rushing TDs, tied at first TDs overall. He's got a career-high 5 TDs in only 4 games. If I do the math on a whole season, that's like 700 touchdowns in a season.
And we can't forget about the league's leading rusher either. A.J. Ouellette is just 36 yards ahead of Mills in that category and is looking to set the tone for the Riders once again. Well, I guess better late than never as we officially welcome you to Friday Night Football, week number 6 in the CFL. Laura Dyken here filling in for Kate Burness. We've got Enoch Mwamba. We've got Paul LaPolice. We've got Davis Sanchez. To look back at last week, so what do we have? Inaugural Stampede Bowl. We had the Ticats offense putting on a show in Toronto. We had the BC Lions getting that last-second field goal from Sean White to knock off the Alouettes. And oh yeah, the Elks got their first win. And we can't forget Roy from New Westminster, BC. He's got $1 million in the bank now, so a tough act to follow, but we are up to the challenge. And what a game to begin week number 6 as we say hello to Claire Hannon, who's joining us from Regina. And Claire, obviously, one of the big storylines coming into this game now has been the air quality at Mosaic and Regina. What is the latest?
Yeah, Laura, it's something we've really been paying attention to all day due to those fires in northern Saskatchewan. The air quality index has really been jostling between about 10, which is the highest, and 4. Now, the kickoff has obviously been moved to 7:45, and I'm hearing that across the province in different pockets, the air quality has really been improving. And, of course, we have delayed the kickoff because the players' health is the most important thing. Now, I've been speaking with some of the players when they were out here earlier for warm-ups, and one of them mentioned, you know, my eyes are stinging a little bit. They're possibly a little bit itchy. And I said, you know, do you think that the air quality is going to affect anything else during the game? And they said, I won't really know until I've done a proper warm-up and done some of those sprints to see if that's going to be affecting me. But really, all of the players are locked in right now. Now, normally, teams will come out for kickoff about an hour before kickoff, which would have been 15 minutes ago. As you can see, neither of the teams are on the field yet. The PA and the decision has been that they won't come onto the field until about 7:05 or 7:10. Both teams will have an abridged warm-up on the field. So right now, they're still in the locker room. I've heard the Riders are doing some activation, just some warm-ups. The Stampeders in their locker room, they're taking it easy, listening to some music, just staying loose, but also trying to stay locked in for when kickoff will happen. And I will say, one of the big updates, if we go onto the field, aside from the air, is that quarterback Trevor Harris will be back behind center for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He missed week 4 against the BC Lions due to concussion protocol. He's feeling great right now, and I asked him, you know, what's it like to be back? He said, I am just so happy. It's so frustrating not being able to play. So I think he's really fired up for this game against the Stampeders. And of course, as you were mentioning, it's for top spot in the West Division, so this should be a rumble at Mosaic Stadium.
So everybody's pregame routines kind of turned around upside down a little bit there. Again, we are scheduled to kick off at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 7:45 local. We will keep you updated here as our pregame show continues, which means let's get into the nitty-gritties here and this stellar matchup, as I said, beginning with those Stampeders who have to feel pretty good about themselves after their performance last week at the Stampede Bowl, the inaugural Stampede Bowl, knocking off the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, handing them their first loss of the season. And the thing with the Stamps win, it was a total team effort, right? All 3 phases were clicking. They played 4 games so far, 3-1 record. As we said, if they get a win here tonight, they would draw even with the Roughriders when it comes to the record in the West. Can we consider them, Davis, a legitimate contender now in the West Division?
Well,
I thought last week we were supposed to decide on that, and they went and beat the Bombers. So, yes, we can, and for me, it's their defense. You look at, expected Vernon Adams to be good. He's a playmaker, pieces around him. Dave Dickinson's a smart offensive mind. I expected them to be good. But defensively, they play a ton of zone with Bob Slowick there. And I thought it would take them some time to gel. Usually, zone defenses, a lot of communication stuff. And with this defense, they seem to gel right away. 2 touchdowns last week on defense, making plays, getting off the field on second down. This defense has really been what's impressive. And to me, because they play so much zone, the fact that zones, as we all know, take longer to gel because of all the communication, the fact they're this good this early, that's what's been most impressive to me. And, Laura, they're absolutely a contender.
Yeah, and I think contender status, you're right, it has to start with defense. As you said, we all knew VA was going to make this offense better, but I'm going to repeat, Bob Slowick, veteran NFL coordinator, has come in, and when I talked to him early in the season, he said, I want us to be simple on defense, and I want us to run to the football. And if we do those things very well, everything else will take care of itself. He didn't want a lot in because what you said, Davis, we have too many guys that are all new playing together, so we don't want to have a lot of stuff in. What he has in is working. They have 3 interception touchdowns in 4 games. That ties their total from the last 2 seasons. And last year, if you remember, Calgary's defense had the fewest takeaways in the Canadian Football League. So they're listening to their coach. He's keeping it simple for them, and they're flying around and making plays. And there's one stat before I leave. 30-plus plays, they've given up 1 all season, which is an amazing stat, best in the Canadian Football League.
And we know this, Chaz. Defenses win championships. And so you look at the championship-winning teams, right? They have strong defenses. So we have to consider this team, especially by the way that they started the season. You guys mentioned already Bob Slowick and how he has this team playing. You look at last week, Derek Moncrief, Damon Webb as well. They did a tremendous job taking the ball away from one Zach Collaros. And so tonight they're doing it against Trevor Harrison, an explosive offense in Saskatchewan, but they definitely have what it takes, at least right now, what it looks like. So you look at a guy like Vernon Adams, who started the season kind of slow, didn't really throw touchdowns until last week at the Stampede Bowl. He was able to connect with his receivers, Clark Barnes early on in the game, and that absolutely helps. I want to see what happens when you take away the big play early on in the game. How are you able to manage the ball now? How are you going to be able to manage the play calling as an offense as well? Because, yes, you do have to score points, and you're happy that you have a defense that can defend really well. But let's see when the game is not, you don't score too early in the game. How are you going to manage that game, Coach?
Let me ask you a real quick question. Bob Slowick, you played for him.
That's right.
Give me one little thing about him.
Oh, man, he's a guy that you want to play for. He's amazing. People buy into him. He's the type of leader that you want to have on your team, that's for sure.
Nice. Something else that's in the Stamps' favor right now, is surprised to see this as well. They've won 5 in a row in Regina, 10 of the last 11. The last time they lost a regular season game there was in August of 2018. The Riders, their fans are happy to have their #1 back under center tonight. Up next, Matthew Shinetti sits down with one Trevor Harris.
If they want to continue to have success and they want to continue to win games, Vernon Adams is going to have to step up.
Down the field, drops it into the 5, end zone, touchdown, Clark Barnes.
He had multiple explosive plays in this football game.
Down the field, he's got him, and he's wide open, it's still Barnes.
It's history. First one ever, we won. I'm blessed, I'm thankful.
MVP for this game, your quarterback, Vernon Adams Jr.
Everybody here in Regina's pumped. They're 4-0.
Harris, end zone, touchdown. Samuel Amos. House call for the Riders. Get out of his way. He was not going to be stopped. No one's going to touch him. No flags down. Walk it off. Touchdown. Give it to him.
How do you keep this momentum going?
Go day by day, 1-0. And let me knock Trev out right here.
Head-to-head, and we got a battle of the top of the West tonight. You think that A.J. Ouellette is going to have more yards than Dedrick Mills? Tell me why.
I think that A.J. Ouellette is the talk of the town because he is the focal point of this Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Even though Trevor Harris is their most important player.
Even though Trevor Harris comes back. He missed the last game, and they were still able to be impactful on offense. A.J. Ouellette is the focal point of this offense. You got to realize that. They feed him the ball, and they built that offense around him. When you look at the Calgary Stampeders, yes, they are doing really well. Dedrick Mills is second behind A.J. Ouellette, but they are a little bit reliant on the big play, and that's what they did against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and they have to do that early so they can turn around and hand the ball off to Dedrick Mills. I don't know if it's going to be that simple against the Saskatchewan Roughriders defense. With the likes of Roland Milligan Jr., you got Sales and Revis as well, who's looking for his first interception of the season. It might just be tonight, and that is going to be tough to get Dedrick Mills going.
All right, so in this head-to-head battle, I'm looking at Dedrick Mills, and the reason why, if this Calgary team can stay with the Riders early, Dedrick gets touches. The problem, and the thing I'm worried about is if Sask gets ahead, they're going to run the ball. AJ will have more. I think this game is going to be close. I also look at Calgary. We look at they're a 5.5-point underdogs now. I think this game is close. I like Dedrick Mills to rush for more than AJ. And let's be clear, you've been right 2 weeks in a row in this head-to-head battle. You got to pick first. You picked AJ. I'm going Dedrick Mills in this edition of head-to-head.
The bye week came at a perfect time for Trevor Harris. Got an opportunity to get healthy, get right, and now he is good to go in his return here tonight. Now, when you've been around the game and around the league for as long as Harris has, you've pretty much seen it all, you've pretty much done it all. But after all this time, his main goal remains the same. Recently, Matthew Shinetti caught up with the Riders pivot.
13-year vet. He's 39 years young, but Trevor Harris has thrown for over 4,000 yards 5 times in his career and over 100 starts.
Trevor Harris stands alone in CFL playoff history.
Trevor, I think it's one of the great pleasures of my career that I've been able to watch you as closely as I have. I mean, our careers in the CFL have kind of paralleled each other, right? I came into the league in 2012, and so did you.
I've got a great picture of you from 2012. Y'all want to see it?
No, I don't think anybody wants to see that.
It's a great picture. I'll show y'all. It's great, and we'll get a close up for you guys. You guys want to see it? It's a good one. He's looking sharp.
Matthew Shinetti, TSN, Toronto.
How have you felt about that journey? Because I've watched you find yourself as a quarterback, find yourself as a starter, find yourself as not only a starter but a franchise quarterback, find yourself consistently, not just with one team, not just with 2 teams, 3 teams, 4 teams, and 5 teams. But how would you describe your journey up to this point?
Then we just need to find me as a champion. So let's talk on November 7th.
Well, you got 2, though. You got 2 rings.
Kinda.
Do you see it that way?
Kinda. Yeah. Yeah, it's different. It's been fun, and you know, I think a lot of times I go through things in life, and I always take mental notes about how I can help other people in the future. And so, you know, if I become a coach after I'm done, how can I help the 3rd quarterback on the roster? Well, I've been there. How can I help the backup that has to be ready to him? I've been there. Somebody that's maybe, you know, had a backup job that didn't quite go the way they wanted with the Zach and me situation in 2013. Well, I've been there. Have you ever replaced a legend? I've been there. Ricky Ray, Henry Burris, a couple names, people for, yeah. Have you ever been benched before? I've been there. Have you ever been a franchise quarterback? Yep. You ever been hurt? Yep. You ever had long-term injuries? Yep. I've been in everybody's shoes. I've been a field goal holder. I've been in those shoes of almost anybody in the quarterback room. And so I've really been a diversified career. Now I just need to add, you know, franchise quarterback that won a championship. It's a different thing kind of watching your team win a championship from the sideline, going out holding field goals or doing, you know, small things here and there versus actually playing a part in it, you know, and I want to play a part in it.
How much longer do you want to play a part in it? Because you and I talked about last year, you were talking about playing. I mean, I know you admire so much about Tom Brady's process, and you've been to his TB12 Institute. But you even talked to me about wanting to play into your mid-40s. And I think about getting to my mid-40s. I'm like, bro, you know what? You're braver than I am, man.
I've been getting asked that a lot, and I think it's kind of a badge of honor, you know, that you've played this long, that you start to get those questions. And, you know, my teammates asking me if we had color TV when I first came in the league, sort of situation. And so, you know, I've gone from the guy that asks those questions to the guy that laughs at the people getting asked that question to the guy getting asked that question. And so, you know, at this point, my response is just like, like if you play your cards right, maybe you'll get these questions someday, you know? And to me, it's just about, just having fun through the journey. And 1 year at a time, I know I've said that a lot, but I've also said every year, I think this is my last year of my wife. And so, at some point, it's up and down.
She's probably at a point where she doesn't believe you anymore, man.
She doesn't. Neither does my family. And so I'm just enjoying the moment. And so that's what I'm going to do, is just enjoy the moment and stop worrying about how many years or if I'm going to play another year after this year, and kind of just go with it as we go and keep praying and asking my family if we're good, and just keep going from there, or just say, hey, it's been a fun ride.
And it has been quite the career for Trevor Harris so far, because it definitely doesn't sound like he's planning to hang him up anytime soon. At the time of his injury in Week 3, the 39-year-old led the CFL in both average yards per pass as well as completion percentage. And he enters tonight having won a career-best 7 straight regular season games. You're looking at his stats, what he's done during the streak, 77.1%, that completion percentage, some impressive stuff. Before we get into Trevor Harris, just want to give you a little bit of an update now. So the players still haven't come out on the field at Mosaic. Once they do, we'll be about 30 minutes from kickoff there. So if you're doing the math, it sounds like we will be delayed a little bit longer. We'll continue to keep you updated. Good thing we have plenty to talk about when it comes to the Stamps Riders game. So let's get into Trevor Harris once again. As I mentioned, for Harris here, he said some interesting things there. When you talk about those 2 Grey Cup rings, he kind of said like he wants to be considered a champion and he wants to be a part of a championship team. When you look at this Riders team, of course, they are the only team that has yet to lose, 4-0 record. They've got all the pieces in place to make a deep run and perhaps play for that Grey Cup. Just how important is Harris to this team, Paul?
I think he's crucially important. But if any team could survive, guys, without their starting quarterback, it might be this football team. Why? They lead the Canadian Football League in rushing with over 128 yards. And the next thing I think is really interesting, what this team does, is on defense, they stop the run, best in the CFL. So cold weather games later in the year, that could happen. They also take the football away. So when you get teams that, are one of the best in the Canadian Football League at taking the football away, you're going to win a lot of football games, regardless of what your quarterback play is. Jake Mayer's done some good things for him. And biggest thing, Mario Alford, that guy can help you with some explosive plays. We know the Riders are one of the top in the Canadian Football League in explosive plays. So I really think Trevor has to be part of this. But if any team could overcome it, these guys might be able to.
Enoch, take that smirk off your face.
I'm just saying, I told you.
Let's pull back the curtain here. Okay? Just before we went on, me and Enoch, we're having a conversation about the importance of Trevor, and I said he's the most important player on the team, not AJ Ouellette, like we talked about in the earlier segment. And then Paul comes on and talks about they can win without Trevor. And Enoch just looks at me smiling like, see, I told you. I told you. Look, I get what you guys are saying, and it absolutely. I mean, Trevor's... The way the offense is being called right now is perfect for Trevor because he gets the ball out quickly. He, as you know, Lapo, he processes extremely well. Someone that's played with Trevor talked about Trevor's play this year. He told me that what's most impressive is Trevor's not only, we know he's a high football IQ guy, pre-snap guy, but not only is he getting to his second and third reads, but he's getting to his second, third, and fourth read, not to a check down, which is what you would normally see. Yeah. He's getting to a fourth read on a deep dig or a corner route. Like, that's really what's most impressive. And this guy was discussing Trevor and what was most impressive. And that, to me, it's his football IQ really gives them an advantage. Now, can they win, to your point, with the run game and everything else and their defense? Yes. But the fact that he processes so well pre-snap, it's really tough for a defense to play Trevor.
And beyond what he does on the field for this team, I think as far as a leader and what he brings to the table, he is the voice of that locker room. And guys in the locker room lean on him, trust him, and he's been through, a long career, and guys really lean on him. So he does a lot more than just what the stats show on the field. Is what I really have always been impressed with Trevor. And as a guy who played against him, you tackle this guy, you almost feel sorry for him because he's such a nice guy. But at the same time,
almost.
But this team, what is impressive with this team too? You got to realize they came into this year with Kean Schaefer-Baker went down really early in the season. Sam Amelis he's a rising star and played extremely well early in the season. He went down as well. And the fact that they're still able to be perfect in the season and still perform, and offensively speaking, you got guys like Keyshawn Johnson, you got Dante Myers. Yeah. They come in and they do what they need to do. That is really what's impressive about this offense and this team as a whole. The depth that they have as a whole is absolutely amazing.
And a couple of things that Trevor does that people don't give him enough credit for. First and foremost, going against Trevor, when he gets the the ball on offense, he's going to put together a 9-10 play drive. He gets the ball out of his hand quickly, and he gets first downs, and he's able to stay on the field and give the defense a break. The other thing, you talked about it, his ability to get the ball out of his hands. Right now, Saskatchewan's got 3 offensive linemen on the 6 game, 3 starters.
Yes. Right.
So he will be able to create first downs and, like you said, get the ball out of his hands quickly. And that is huge for somebody to help your offense recover when you're getting penalties and all that stuff. So, like, Trevor brings so much to the table, and obviously the veteran presence.
Yes, all that experience, right? As we heard in that interview with Matthew, he's seen it all, he's done it all, and he's ready to win a real Grey Cup. Can we even say a real Grey Cup ring?
Well, he wasn't the starter, right?
Kinda.
He wants to lead his team.
When our pregame show continues here on TSN, we'll hear from Jalen Philpott as well as
You want to race
Luke
that?
Wilson.
You want to race that thing?
It's not a horse. It's not a horse. We've been keeping track of what the Philpott brothers have been up to this season. Again, when the twins were younger, whoever had a better game got to sit in the front seat. Well, right now, those honors go to Tyson, who has more yards and touchdowns than older brother Jalen, who we'll see in action tonight. Speaking of which, here's Claire now with Jalen.
So, Jalen, still some uncertainty on when this game is going to start. How are you guys handling that?
Vibes are high right now in the locker room. We're playing lots of music, just talking it out, and just making sure everyone's staying up. We know this game's going to happen, so it's just waiting for it to happen and just keeping the vibes up.
Now, if the delay continues, what's your go-to snack? What are you going to do to keep your energy high?
I luckily prepared, and I got some carbohydrate energy chews, so those are kind of keeping me going right now and just keeping the energy levels high and just trying to get some sugar in me so that I got some energy for today.
Okay, now talking about your season, you guys are 3-1. How did you guys get to this point?
Man, just belief. Early on, getting it with VA in the offseason, we saw the early rankings. We saw where people kind of had us in the polls, and we just kind of had it on ourselves that we were going to come out here and prove everyone wrong. We knew what we had in our locker room, so honestly, it just motivates us, and we just know what we got over here.
A lot of people have been marking this game on the calendar. You guys are 1-2. This is going to be for top spot in the West Division. What kind of a challenge is it to play the Riders at Mosaic Stadium?
It's always a challenge. They got a great fan base out here. They play really well at home, but again, we know what we got in our locker room. We're excited to come out here and just really show the CFL, show everyone that Calgary Stampeders are a reckoning to be forced with this year.
Okay, thank you, and enjoy those carbo chews.
Thank you so much.
Well, look who finally made it to Regina, our own Luke Wilson. You said, Luke, that you're excited to get there to Mosaic, and you heard great things about the CFL experience. I know the air quality and the smoke has kind of put a damper on the festivities a little bit, or has it?
Not at all. Laura, I couldn't be more excited. And I'll tell you, you can just feel the passion here. First off, Mosaic in itself as a building is awesome. The fans here are ready to go. I know we got some air quality issues, and I'm sure that'll get sorted soon. But I couldn't be more fired up. You just feel like you're in football country here in Saskatchewan.
You're keeping your eye on?
Laura, the big matchup for me right now has got to be this offensive line. And again, I go back a couple weeks. We talked about their head coach, Coach Mace, ex-offensive lineman. I'm telling you, this unit has gotten better and better every week, and I love the way they play. And you got to tip your cap to AJ Ouellette, but these are the guys that are making it happen. And you see it a couple weeks ago, they're coming off by, and it starts with Hardrick. Hardrick is the #1 graded offensive lineman right now per PFF. Watch this double team right here with him and Brammer coming down, just concaving the end. Boom, here we go, and we're still driving. And AJ Ouellette out the gate, big explosive play. This was the first play of the game. You want to set the tone? You love that. And I mentioned Brammer, and now you got Furlan in there. Watch these boys. You got Zach Fry, who comes in as a tight end, Pride of Western University. He's going to seal this end right here, and then it's Bulls on parade. Athletic, big boys moving downfield. These are 300-plus pound men pulling like that. You're centering your guard and looking for work, and this might be my favorite one. This is just shout out to everybody here. If you watch this, everybody wins, especially the right side. 3 guys I just mentioned, they maul this whole thing. Boom, we're moving bodies off the spot. We're sealing the backside. That's the picture. This is what you draw up in a playbook, let alone having it hit. We don't get touched till 12 yards downfield, and we barely get tripped up. And then here we go. You want to finish the game off? We talked about A.J. Ouellette. He's actually going to lead block for Tommy Stevens here. Fourth quarter, you got to win. Tommy Stevens put it in. Again, A.J. Ouellette, gentleman makes a business decision, gets absolutely out of the way. And our third-string quarterback, who's our running guy, ends up coming in here and getting touched 12 yards down the field. Laura, I love A.J. Ouellette. When the guy runs to me, it's like he's moving planet Earth. It's one of my favorite players in this league. But I'd be remiss to not mention these 5 offensive linemen up front. They are playing physical. They are playing aggressive. They're playing downhill. And they're getting better and better every week. And if Calgary doesn't find a way to stop these boys today, A.J. Ouellette's going to unleash on this team too. That's the matchup for me.
Yep, there's a reason that A.J. Ouellette is leading the CFL in rushing yards, and while the Saskatchewan Roughriders are the top team in that department as well. Luke Wilson, will be hearing from him throughout the game as well. And some good news, it sounds like the players will be making out their way onto the field in a couple minutes from now, so the countdown will be on. We're hoping for kickoff just over half an hour. Okay, guys, we need some fingers crossing. Help me out here. Okay, so let's get into these matchups a little bit more. And Paul, starting with you, you wanted to carry up a little bit there on Luke's discussion on the O-line for the Riders.
I love what Luke was talking about with the O-line, and I think he's on point. And what's neat about that is they got 3 guys injured. I just said in the last segment, like, who are they missing? They're missing Philip Gagnon, Jaron Tate is now in the 6th game, and Sean McEwen's on the 6th game. So they're already missing 3 starters. So that younger group has got to step up from week to week. Jamarcus Hardrick is an outstanding football player. He'll provide energy and excitement for that unit. You know, and I love the fact that, you know, AJ, how hard he runs and everything. They also have Kadeem Carey there. You know, they have another really good running back. So they put themselves in a position where if anything happens, Enoch, they've got another guy to help out.
Yeah, absolutely. And they got an offense that actually is geared towards this right now. And they're committing to the running game, Chaz. They absolutely are. They're putting guys on the field, extra O-linemen, extra fullbacks a lot of the times. And they're saying, hey, we're going to run the ball and come and stop us. And so it's been amazing to see. So throughout coming into the season, one of the talks was, hey, A.J. Ouellette's going to lose some weight. He's lost some weight because Corey Mace, as well as Andrew Harris, his coaches, decided to say, you lose a little bit of weight. We're tired of seeing you lifting all that weight, but let's make you a little bit more mobile, a little bit more flexible, and that's what he did coming in. I talked to Andrew Harris this week. He said, yes, Enoch, he's a little bit more patient. He takes less hits, but he's a little bit lighter, so he makes him a little bit faster. Right here, him and Beaulieu, at this point right here, it's a race, and he turns the corner and gets the extra yardage. This year alone, guys, he's gotten his longest yards in the CFL, 47 yards. And now here again, it's a speed, it's a race. And a lot of times here, last year or the year previous, he would take those hits. He would run into guys. Now he's a little bit smarter. And when you think that he's not as physical, look at this play right here. He runs, and the middle linebacker right there, who leads the league in tackle, he still runs and gets 6 more yards after the tackle, the contact. So this guy right here is extremely dangerous for this team, and that's why they're doing as well in offensively speaking, Davis.
Yeah, one of the things that Andrew mentioned to me, too, and I thought was interesting, was talking about when you hit contact as a running back. He said, this is what Andrew said he used to do, is I would almost get limp as I would come into contact, because when you're tight, that's when you get injured. So he's been trying to also feed that. It was interesting. I hadn't heard that before. He was trying to also feed that to AJ. Don't tense up when you're going to take the hit. Kind of realize you're going to get hit. Almost give yourself up and able to just take that hit and get out of bounds. Obviously, him being able to stay healthy is going to be key. The next thing I looked at, too, is the fewest amount of pass attempts. This is, again, Trevor Harris is a guy that's dealing, and he has a fewest amount of pass attempts. To your point, it's because they can run the rock, and that's a great thing for not only, like you said, Lapo, protecting your offensive line. You want to run the rock, and also if you're a team that has a 40-year-old quarterback, a 39-year-old quarterback, I don't think it's great that he's dropping back 40 times a game either. So the fact that they can do that both helps their defense with the time of possession, helps their offensive line that's battered, and helps the older quarterbacks. All these things conducive to Riders, collectively playing good football.
Yeah, and your point about protecting the O-line is so good. Like, I can remember working with a certain offensive coordinator years ago, and we're in a game, and we ran empty protection, which means no help for the offense, no help for the O-line, like 7 plays in a row. We didn't run the ball, and we're just throwing it every play. And all of a sudden, like, he's mad at the O-lineman. He's like, what's the matter? Well, they can't block anybody. Well, you have to do other things and throw the ball every play. So when you have the run game going, it just makes everything easier. I think AJ's really patient in his ability to recognize when to bounce it outside, when to hit it up inside, and when to wind it all the way back. He's doing a really good job.
You got to give it to Corey Mace for bringing in Andrew Harris, because that is a great compliment to AJ.
He was a pretty good back, right?
He was pretty decent. But they had a great relationship even in Toronto. So the minute that, that position became available, the first call he made, Andrew Harris come here. But again, it complements the game that AJ already possessed, and now he's that much more dangerous.
The importance of balance. The Riders averaging just 244 passing yards per game, lowest in the CFL, which is a little bit of a surprise, but like you said, pounding the rock is working for them. Exactly. All right, well, good news, bad news. More bad news.
What do we got?
Well, the fans are in the stands. That's the good news. Still no players on the field yet at Mosaic, but good news, I guess. Get to hear more from us as our pregame show continues as we await kickoff between the Stamps and the Riders.
Right now, all my people with me. The time is now. We know no limits, cause this is our time, yeah. The time is now. The time is now. The feeling's legendary. No limits right now. All my people with me. The time is now. We know no limits, cause this is our time, yeah. The time is now. The time is now.
After making a statement in the inaugural Stampede Bowl, Calgary has its sights set on handing another undefeated team its first loss of the season. The Roughriders, though, enter tonight not only well-rested following their bye week, but they'll also get a big boost from that hometown crowd.
Anytime's great for football, but I know when it feels just right.
I'm gonna kick back, relax.
Watching football on a Friday night. We're going to be hard to tame. Coast to coast.
The CFL is Canada's game. We're all pumped up to party! And we ready for a fight. Kick back, relax.
Watching Friday night football.
The boys are all back. Playing CFL football.
The game is up for grabs.
It's Friday night football tonight.
Tonight's game features the top two teams in the West and the CFL's leading rushers. The Stamps' Dedrick Mills has scored the most rushing touchdowns this season. He's got 5. While on the other side of things, AJ Ouellette of the Riders has put up the most yards, 347 and counting. Both will be looking to make their mark tonight at Mosaic Stadium. It is Friday night football time here on TSN. Laura Dyke and Enoch Mwamba, Paul Apolice, as well as Davis Sanchez. So if you are just joining us now and expecting to what we'd be at halftime at this point, yes, there has been a major delay when it comes to play between the Stamps and the Riders. Air quality concerns around the arena in the city. We're still in a little bit of a holding pattern as, again, the players have yet to make their way onto the field. Once they do, we'll be about 30 minutes away from kickoff. So again, treading a little bit of water. But again, we've got lots to talk about here. Before we get into our stuff once again here on the set, let's turn things over to the crew in Regina and Mosaic, Dustin Nielsen, as well as Glenn Suter.
Pre-game booth hit. This is cool. I never get to do these, so shout out to the delay, I guess. Look, I think both Luke and the panel have done a great job talking about the defenses in this, or in the run game so far in this one. You know that with two veteran quarterbacks, those guys are going to throw the ball as well. But we got two pretty good defenses here, starting with Calgary, that has been the best in the league at keeping the ball out of their end zone so far this year.
Well, Dedrick Mills offensively has been outstanding for Calgary. Vernon Adams and that ad in the offseason was big and brought a lot of energy. But I think the biggest change in this team and why they're 3-1 coming into this game is because of their play of their defense. And for a lot of it, especially when you look in their back end with two very young halfbacks playing in that defensive secondary, you're looking at guys that probably don't know any better and are just flying around making plays. The Calgary defense was rated last in the league last year. This year, they're #1 in points allowed, which is the most important stat, and against arguably the best team in the league, maybe in the West Division, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they had 2 pick-sixes, so they're making those big plays as well.
Yeah, tough stretch right now for Calgary after playing against Winnipeg. Now they get the Riders. Now on the other side of things, defensively, the Riders are allowing less than 70 yards per game on the ground. So they've done a great job running the ball. They've done a great job stopping the run, but they've got some playmakers there too.
Yeah, well, of course, Roland Milligan, who was the outstanding defensive player in the league last year, is back in that secondary, and he's got going with a couple of picks too. But yeah, I mean, this is the Saskatchewan defensive strategy. Stop the run. Corey Mace, former defensive lineman, of course, is going to make that a priority, which he does on defense. Stop the run, put quarterbacks in second and long, and then jump those routes, playing his own defense with everything in front of you. So guys like Roland Milligan can get it done too. We know in the Canadian Football League, the ball's going to be in the air. I agree with the guys. I agree with Luke talking about the run game and A.J. Ouellette and Dedrick Mills for sure. But the ball's going to go into play action after that. That's the progression of the run game. And when it does, these defenses have been making big plays.
Look, Riders defense has 8 takeaways in their last 3 games after being -2 in that department, in the turnover ratio department, in their first game of the year. So they've been taking the ball away, and when you take the ball away, if you're not taking it back, you're putting your team in a really good spot field position-wise. And when you've got a Trevor Harris or Jake Mayer last week, I mean, you're putting your offense in a really good position there.
Well, you are, and then let's not forget that Mario Alfred's out there for the Saskatchewan Roughriders for field position. And by the way, Trevor Harris cleared protocol through the bye week. I know we've talked about that, but if you're just joining us, the #1 starter for Saskatchewan will be back in the lineup.
Yeah, so that'll be big for them as well. But what about just the hype of first place at this stage of the year? I know it's early, but still, this is a battle for first in the West.
Well, you and I are biased, but I would say this is the game of the week. No,
Friday Night Football, of course it is.
Friday Night Football, the game of the week. No, I'm excited about this because, you know, first of all, you got to love the style with 2 run-first offenses. But VA is a guy who's going to push the ball deep. He leads the league in those 30-plus plays down the field. He likes to get started early. And, you know, I'm not saying he does it without, you know, calculating and understanding the coverages and things like that. But he'll push the ball and take some shots. That's why I wonder who's going to make those plays. Roland Milligan down the field or Vernon Adams' receiving core like Jalen Philpott when he does go deep. Trevor Harris will push the ball as well, but he does it in a more calculated fashion. It'll be the underneath stuff. He want to move the sticks. He wants to keep his offense on the field, those long drives. Mario Alfred helps him with that field position, you know, and then he will take his shots.
Anticipation continues to grow towards the players getting on the field. Laura, let's send it back to you.
As well, 2 passing touchdowns shy of an even 100 for his career.
Can I just say something real fast? With Dusty right there, he was excited about that booth hit pregame. Just want him to know that I was the one that greenlit and okayed that for him. So,
he's the boss.
You're welcome, Dusty.
You're
welcome.
And we said take all the time you need because we've got nothing but time right now. Talking about these defenses here, and we focused on the Calgary Stampeders, and, you know, giving up just over 20 points per game, only 5 offensive touchdowns so far. Saskatchewan on the other side, yes, great against the run. The pass is a different story, right? They're giving up over 302 passing yards per game. Is that a concern moving forward?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a concern for me. Here's the key for me in this game, and when I look at both these defenses, it's going to come down to second down in every CFL game or every football game. It comes down to converting. And the hit they just did with Dustin and Suits, they talked about the run game, for the run defense for Saskatchewan, how great they've been. Under 70 yards a game, they're giving up. That's excellent run defense. What's that going to do, though? That's going to get VA into second down. And now, all of a sudden, you have the crowd, that's an issue. You have the pass rush of Sask, that's an issue. And that's going to be a key to this game. On second down, VA right now, listen to this stat right here. Second down conversions around the league is around 40% is average right now for second down conversions. VA right now, on 2nd and 7 or more, not just second down, but 2nd and 7 or more, VA is 39% conversion rate. That is out of this world. #1 in the CFL. So if VA can be special on second down, especially second and long, if they can't to the point of their hit, if they can't run the ball against this Riders defense, that will be the key to this game. VA's got to be special and continue to be special on second down.
And I would say defensively for Calgary, the key to this game is what they've done all season long. There was a stat this week about big plays are up in the Canadian Football League, and you're 5 times more likely to score a touchdown when you have a big play. This Calgary defense does not give up big plays. They've only given up 1 30-plus pass play all season, which is a crazy stat. They've given up 4 passing TDs, lowest in the Canadian Football League. So the hard part of offensive football is they defeat themselves with penalties, incompletions, or poor located footballs. So you need that 50-yard pass, Enoch, to get closer to the scoring position. But when you don't get, you're always trying to put yourself in positions where you have 12, 13-play drives. Can't happen. Calgary has figured out that's the way to win on defense. Add in pick sixes, multiple of Damon Webb was a great ad from Ohio State last year. You saw him have one last week. We know the veteran Moncrief had one, and I think Green had one earlier this season. So this is a great unit for Calgary. Interesting to see what they're going to do. You know, it's great to see these both really good defensive units.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you look at Corey Mace's defense, a lot of the times one of the characteristics that you usually hear is, hey, you know, it's a bend but not break defense. And Jameer Thurman talked about it all week, this week, last week. He doesn't like the fact that they're giving up so many yards in the air. But however, they're winning games, and so it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, they want to do better. And I'm looking at this front right now, and these are the guys that I'm looking at after. And these are guys that are really capable. You're looking at a Shane Ray. He's a guy that can rush the passer. Is
that Shane Ray?
That's not him. But Shane Ray.
Continue, Enoch.
He can rush the passer. You got Carney on the opposite side, and you got the guys inside. Obviously, Michael Johnson can stop the run. But Mike Rose is a guy that we've known over the years, especially when he was in Calgary, to really rush the passer from the interior. He's one of the better defensive pass rusher from the inside. And so these are the guys that, if the run game is actually going to be stymied from the Calgary Stampeders, these are the guys that are going to go and eat. But they're going to need to have a big game against Vernon Adams Jr. if they want to be successful tonight.
That guy with the overalls was jacked up, though. That guy was yoked up.
He was ready. He's ready.
Yeah. Enoch, you want to race him?
He's no challenge. Only if he's the fastest horse in the world.
Oh, my God.
We showed you that graphic just moments ago. This is the 6th time that the Riders have started a season 4-0 in the CFL era. They didn't finish the season off well last year. This is the 2nd straight year under Corey Mace at their 4-0. They finished the year 9-8-1. 2013 was the only time when they started 4-0 and went on to win the Grey Cup. For what it's worth, all quiet still, and Mosaic, we're really hoping, we've got kickoff coming up soon.
Just a comment.
Well, we know how we're passing the time as we get ready for the Riders and the Stamps.
What we got here?
Over in Mosaic, it's a little punt pass kick from our own Luke Wilson. So that was the first punt. Apparently, he's pointing at his shoulder. He's like, I'm not going to throw because my shoulder is sore. I'm guessing too much golf, perhaps?
Goodness gracious.
What are we thinking of the form?
Okay.
No, that's not
form.
it.
There's no form. Okay.
No, Luke.
Field goal coming?
So, yeah, he's going to line up from 41 yards out. This one is
this
for,
this is for
I think, $10 million if he kicks it.
Yeah. No problem.
No problem, right? No one's watching.
Come on,
But we
Luke.
slow-moed it, too.
Come on, Luke. You're better than that. Hold on.
Yes.
Laura, what did you say? Why did he throw?
Because his shoulder is sore, apparently. Reports indicate he has
his shoulder was. You know what he should have said? He should have said his knee was sore too with that kick.
Oh, but he's not going to turn down an interview, is he?
Hey, Luke, you always said you like to keep it honest. I'm going to keep it honest with you. That was terrible. Love you, but that was terrible.
Making himself nice at home there at Mosaic. You probably noticed there as well. Still no. I mean, he was the only player on the player. Oh, that's mean. Sorry, Luke. That wasn't very nice. One of the themes that has been standing out so far through the first 5 weeks of the CFL season: return touchdowns. We saw 6 more of them last week. We had 2 interception returns for touchdowns. We saw 2 kick returns. We saw 2 punt returns, which leads us to Mario Alford. I mean, we're going old school, going a little nostalgic here, a little Super Mario Brothers. Only a matter of time before someone did this. Week 3, we all remember how that game ended as his 99-yard kick return walked off the Argos in Toronto. He is having a great season. That was his 9th kickoff return as a member of the Riders, which sets a club record. What, if we do get underway, will he bring to this game here tonight, Enoch?
I mean, he brings extreme confidence to his team. You watch when the ball is being punted to him. Everyone on the field believes in him, so they block even harder and more for him. And so he brings that third aspect to this team. Coach, we always talk about it, right? 3 phases of game, and you want to have complementary football, and he brings just that for this team. And you talk about the fact that we talk about how competent they are on offense, how competitive they are defensively speaking. And now to add this part of it as well to this team, they're extremely dangerous. Just when those 2 parts, the offense and the defense, don't show up, we saw it in Toronto, Super Mario comes out.
Yeah, and how cool is this for the league? The league since 2010 has averaged 3 kickoff return touchdowns. We have 4 and only a couple of games so far this season. So, I mean, I think by my math, that's like 700 by the end of the year returns. Did I do
Give
that
or
right?
take, yeah, it was perfect.
No? Perfect. Right? But, like, so it's really cool to see, like, you know, just the opportunities, whether it's kickoff returns, the punt returns, the ability of the returners in this league and how great it is to, you know, have at the end of the game, Mario Alford gets that touchdown for the win. Just keeps everybody excited and in their seats for great football.
If Calgary wins this game, are we talk about them as the potentially best team in the West? I mean, they beat Winnipeg. If they beat Sask, I mean, it'll be tough because there's still more questions, and not that I haven't been impressed with what I've seen so far, because I have been. But just because they're new to it and we haven't seen it from them.
Don't live in the past, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Rebuild is ahead of schedule, right?
What else would be missing, though? If they beat 2 undefeated teams, back-to-back weeks, you have to talk about them being one of the better teams in the league.
I guess the only thing is,
who cares? Is the coach here on the panel like, who cares? Doesn't matter. You got to be the best at the end of the year.
I was just going to say that. Does it have the same sway if it's weeks 5 or 6 as opposed to?
Talk about on TV.
So what doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter saying who's the best week 5 of the season. Week 6.
Are you a coach right now, or we work in TV? You have no choice. You have no choice but to talk about it.
Sorry. All right.
Especially we're in a lengthy delay. We've got to come up with everything that we possibly can here.
Who cares about all your dumb chalk talks now? Your coach's playbooks. Who cares?
No.
It doesn't matter. You don't win a Grey Cup for your dumb diagrams.
Put them up there.
Dumb diagrams. This is where we're going right now. Anything else you want to talk about quickly here? No? Just some chalk and...
I'm going to put a parlay together.
Yeah. We're going to start racing cows here?
No.
All right. Well, we are patiently awaiting... Well, the lights, I mean, that's...
The lights are on.
But I don't know if anybody's home.
Dance party.
The crowd's probably like, can we get going here? Yeah. The delay continues at Mosaic and the start of Week 6 in the CFL. Team still huddled up in the locker room awaiting word that it is safe enough and the air quality is good enough to head back out onto the field at Mosaic Stadium. Meanwhile, we'll hear from Claire now, who's standing by with the Riders' Marcus Sales.
Marcus, so you guys still haven't come out for warm-ups. Can you just walk me through what you guys are doing in the locker room and how maybe awkward this is?
Yeah, no, we're still in some good hopes. You know, we're playing good music right now. We're trying to stay in the moment, and, you know, we feel like we're going to be prepared. You know, we're just waiting for the cue to tell us to come out here, but until then, we're going to be ready and just be locked in.
Have you ever experienced anything like this before?
Honestly, yeah. My first year, I think we had like a 2.5-hour rain delay, and the game didn't end until like 1 o'clock. So I've been in this before, so I just got to make sure I stay locked in, and everybody else is too.
What kind kind of advice are you providing to your teammates, given that you've had that experience?
Yeah, just stay locked in. Like, don't get cold. Stay warmed up. Stay in the playbook if you need to. Just whatever you got to do to stay locked in for the game, because we'll be out here soon.
Okay, and focusing on the game. I know you guys are treating each week like 1-0, 1-0, but the fact that you guys are the top team in the CFL, how are you approaching the Calgary Stampeders?
Yeah, I mean, they're just our next opponent. I mean, we know how the severity of the game, but we're just going to prepare for them just like every other opponent. And, we had a great week of practice, and we feel like we're going to be able to show it this week.
And your defense has really been showing off in the CFL. I know the last game against the BC Lions, put up a lot of points in that department. How have you guys just been so tight-knit this year?
Yeah, I mean, we got a great group of guys in there. Coaches expect a lot out of us. We expect a lot of ourselves, and we just love playing the game. We love playing for each other, and it just shows on the field. So we just hope we can continue doing that, and we'll have great success this year.
Okay, and hopefully we see you out in the field pretty soon here. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
We're going to channel Marcus Sayles and those good hopes there. Claire with a good question. Have you guys been involved in anything like this before?
Rain delay for sure. Rain delay for sure. And, you just got to wait, like Marcus was talking about. You kind of think about the playbook and different scenarios and talk about players, different, adjustments that might arise during the course of a game. And you just stay locked in, like he mentioned. And you got to continue to stay prepared. You stay warm, but you stay prepared mentally as well.
I was in the one that Marcus talked about. It was Winnipeg versus Hamilton a couple of years ago, and we were delayed a long time. And the interesting thing about that as a coach, you're sitting upstairs and we're with the visiting coaches, hanging out with them and seeing what's going on out with your kids and everything. Because we didn't go all the way down. They said, no, you guys stay upstairs. So it was kind of cool. Like the Hamilton coaches and the Winnipeg coaches were sitting upstairs talking. The other thing that's cool is the technology nowadays with the iPads for the players. So you would see players basically in their lockers watching the iPads and watching the film and being prepared, waiting for the game to start.
It's much more difficult for an older guy than it is for a younger guy.
For sure, that is the truth.
That's the thing. You're an older guy. I'm gonna stay loose and stretch a little bit, and then when I get the 10-minute warning, then I'm gonna fire up. For young guys, they can probably just. It's not as hard to get back started up, but it's definitely for vets. Once you've warmed up and you're an older player, once you've warmed up, then you cool down. It's real tough to get going again.
Big point.
And it's great to say Marcus Sayles like the song playlist he had. We got some great music playing.
Good hopes. We got good hopes. What's interesting there as well, one thing when it's the weather, you've got the Doppler, you can kind of see with something like this and the air quality, it depends which way the wind is going. The holding pattern continues, but the conversation about the Stamps and the Riders continues here as well. Vernon Adams Jr., I don't think many of us would have expected that Week 5 would see his first passing touchdown as a member of the Calgary Stampeders, but it did come at the best time ever because for Vernon Adams Jr. and those Stamps, he was the MVP of the inaugural Stampede Bowl. So once this one does get underway, your expectations for him picking up where he left off, or is it a case of here we are, like you were just saying, we're getting ready to play, we're getting ready to go, and now it's kind of just we got to sit and wait?
I would say this about Vernon. When he showed up in Calgary, you thought one thing was going to happen. You thought there was going to be more explosive footballs thrown downfield. He likes the deep ball. He likes to stay in the pocket, climb the pocket, and then find those shots downfield. And right now, 30-plus completions, 9, second best in the CFL. And again, we already talked about how big plays matter in the Canadian Football League, but his ability to avoid defensive linemen trying to rush him and then take shots downfield are amazing. This is a double move early in the game last week to Clark Barnes. You can see him about to get hit, makes this throw up here. He's got tools not only to understand when I'm going to stay in the pocket and take that deep shot, but he can use his legs when he wants to. And the biggest thing, he's third best, the Calgary Stampeders, in interceptions. They only thrown 3 interceptions this year. And again, that's sometimes the Achilles heel for Vernon. He takes too many shots. I think understanding, I got Dedrick Mills. I've got a run game that I can build off of. I will stay on the field and then take those shot plays when they're advantageous to us. I think that's something I think Dave Dickinson, Pat Delmonico will teach him to make sure, take calculated shots downfield, but he's doing really good things right now.
Yeah, and his receivers are winning. That's something that was impressive to me. When I look at this receiving core, I wouldn't put them near the top of receiving cores. I think VA's making plays with his guys. He's got some playmakers, but these guys in 50-50 ball, you saw, to your point, the big play in the first half, the touchdown. Later on in the game, again, Tevin Jones has been good as well. I think
Tevin Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've Alfred getting in. He's a huge body at 6'6". So the fact that when VA is pressured or even on scramble plays, he has guys who can put the ball up and make plays for him, that always helps your turnover number when you have guys, when you put the ball up to make those big plays or give your guys a chance at 50-50 balls, they come down with, or at least break it up, and that's helps VA's confidence in those guys.
Yeah, and you talk about the loss of Reggie Beggleton. That was huge, right? He's been an anchor for this team for a long time, and him not being there absolutely hurt the team. But to your point, it gave opportunities for other guys, and they stepped up, and it's extremely important. Are they going to be consistent enough stepping up going forward? Clark Barnes last week, who started things off for them, and again, I talked about it. We talked about it from the beginning of the show. They are going to need a huge start. One, to quiet the crowd in Regina, because they're going to be quiet and they're going to be ready to go as soon as kickoff goes off, as per usual. But quiet the crowd, but also you want to jump and get a head start on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So tonight, the other thing, again, we talk about leadership. We talk about Trevor Harris's leadership. Vernon Adams is very similar, and I was blessed to be on the same team as him. I literally saw the growth in his leadership abilities, and this is probably two teams ago for him, where he was with the Montreal Alouettes, and I remember when he first got the nod, and he started to kind of literally preach to the team on a week-to-week basis. He took the old lineman out, and they started to kind of lean on him a little bit more. You know how you win the offensive lineman coach, but he did that, and just did little things that you started to see, like, this is the type of leader that you want, and he started to become the player that he is today right now, and it's amazing to see the growth that he's had over the years, for sure.
I remember talking to Dedrick Mills early in the season and asked him, what's different about the team this year? And he said VA.
Yep.
He's like, from the moment he walks into the building, he brings an energy to the building. He brings an energy to the practice field. He brings energy in everything and we're all feeding off his energy.
He's a culture changer, for sure.
Yeah, he certainly has done that. The other thing I think is kind of interesting is, we talked about him taking the shots downfield and everything. It's interesting how they drafted. What did they do? He loved Justin McInnes. He had a big target to throw to. He gets to Calgary. Hey, where's my big guy? What do they do? Damon Alford, 6'6" receiver. They draft first overall, and it's looking forward to seeing him tonight. See how they utilize him, having a big target for him to throw it up to.
Third in the CFL in passing yards, one of 3 players over 1,000 yards, and as I said, sitting on 98 career passing touchdowns, 2 more, and he will reach that milestone. What needs to happen first? Players need to get out on the field.
They're watching
highlights. Always work. I mean, it's good that he wasn't on his phone watching the 4 of us. All right, plenty more as our pregame show continues after this. Luke Wilson has accomplished a lot in his illustrious football career, including becoming a Super Bowl champion with the Seattle Seahawks. He is our TSN football analyst, but you can see the note right at the bottom, and this could be Luke's legacy here on TSN. Tried to kick in Regina once. Yes, his Mosaic debut, and he is definitely making the most of it. Luke Wilson joining us once again. Luke, we go through your career highlights there. Where does that one rank? Your kick attempt here at Mosaic. I can't even say it without... I was trying to be really serious there, Luke.
So let me just give you a little background here, okay, Laura? The people are in the stands. The stadium staff says we're trying to fill time. Do you want to do a punt, pass, kick? I said, I got a bad wing. I can't throw a football. 2 surgeries, a lot of blocking. And they say, well, then you're going to punt twice. I go, I'm going to rip my pants. So I didn't go full beans. This one's okay. It's not the end of the world. I'm like, okay. So let me get this guy. I'm a little warmed up now. We got into it a bit. Again, I'm not full beans here, Laura. Now, this, on the other hand, is pathetic. Now, I want to say it's a win-lose here, okay? It's a win-lose. And if you allow me to say this, for people who have followed me on TSN and my journey, I don't really like kicking. And we can get into this, and I'd like to bring the panel boys into this, but there's nothing worse. Lapo as a coach, Chez and Enoch as players. You've been grinding 60 minutes of ball. You're just marred with blood, sweat, and tears. Your body's beat up, and you've done everything you need to do to win this game, and you strut out a 5'7", 165-pound kicker who just needs to step up here and make the kick, and he misses. And then all of a sudden, every article says your team sucks, and you guys are no good, because a guy that isn't even in the facility half the time just costs you the game. So I'm glad I missed the kick because I don't like it. And that's the end of the rant.
Luke,
How's that?
Next time we have you on, could you please tell us what you really think? Because I don't think you were clear enough there.
Hey, Luke, it's Lapo.
You know,
are your pants ripped?
obviously
How
kicking
are your
it, yes.
pants? Luke, how are your pants?
My pants survived. My pants survived. My ego is a bit bruised, but again, I'm glad it was the kick, not the punt, because I might have been a high school punter. That is something I did do back in the day in LaSalle, Ontario.
This is pretty good Friday night football after dark conversation here. How are things going in the stadium? This is the point where we're at right now as we're treading water. How are things going in the stadium? How is the crowd?
Right now, currently live, we got the YMCA humming, and I would say 40% of the people here are on their feet doing the YMCA. So all things considered, here we go. All things considered, I mean, we got a baby live. I'd say it's pretty good. Yeah, these guys are right behind the screen right now. So all in all, Laura, I will say, again, coming out here for the first time, obviously with the game going to be a little more intense, but the fans are ready for ball here, and it's been a very impressive showing for me in my first time here in Mosaic.
This is some hard-hitting analysis that we're getting from Luke Wilson. This is why we send him on the road. Luke, how do I put this politely? You haven't really been everybody's cup of tea, right? Some love you, some hate you, and your opinions here.
I would say I've been most people's cup of tea.
Yeah. How have the interactions been?
Let's get into it then, Laura.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. How have the interactions been with the Riders fans? Have they welcomed you with open arms?
I was on a podcast with our guy Ches the other day. Yeah, the Riders fans like me. I like the Rouge. I just wanted to adjust it. I like the yard neutral zone. I like the 3 downs. I couldn't be more pro-Canada football. You know? What's going on here? Yeah, look at this. I would say there's the odd... Look, now I'm focused in here, drinking some water. I can't believe they got this shot. This is the first time I'm seeing it.
They're always watching. They're always watching.
There's the odd... Yeah, there's the odd, hey. So what I would say is that most people here have been very friendly, have been really great, and have been very like, this is awesome. There's the odd person that have seen me and crossed their arms and stared directly at me. And I'm like, what's up, boss? Like, do you have anything to say? Now, no one has said anything yet. I got a feeling, based on some social media, that the next Friday in Hamilton, which is a long ways away, I might need a full security team for that one. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Right. We're going to take it a game at a time, a minute of the delay at a time.
We'll go with them.
Hold on.
We got his back.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got security on set
we'll
here.
live.
They're going to take care of you.
Yeah. Ches has got me, right, Ches?
Yeah, I got you, buddy. Yeah. That's what we were saying. You know what? When we go down to Hamilton, you got me, Enoch, and Lapo, and Milt back by then, and we'll have your back. We have your back. We'll be taken care of.
And Kate will be there, and you don't want to cross her at all.
It looks like the Stampeders are in the tunnel, not to actually warm up, but just to dance. Yeah, they want some crowd action
Big YMCA
too.
fans. They're like, we need to get out of this locker room. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Luke, we appreciate you joining us here and helping us fill some time. And who knows, we may be talking to you again very, very soon. I'm not sure if that's a good sign. We're going to get us. This is the way to go to play. Yeah, here it is.
Wow.
All you need is the sound of the pants going.
Not good.
50 cents.
Not good.
Oh, he was looking.
Not good.
He thought he split him right there.
I'm like, did it rip? No.
Another update for you here. There is Vernon Adams Jr. hugging a fan on the sidelines. I mean, it's a good sign that they're out of the locker room, but they still haven't officially started warm-ups at Mosaic Stadium. So Stampeders and Roughriders still in a delay. Air quality concerns is the reason for that, as we hope kickoff will happen sometime soon in Regina. Meanwhile, we'll start to look ahead now to the other 2 games coming up on the Week 6 schedule. 3 teams on a bye this week, that being the Argos, the Blue Bombers, as well as the Als. Saturday night, Lapo, you're going to have a front row seat to this one in the Hammer. Red Blacks, Ticats. We know what Hamilton did last week in Toronto. It was Bo Levi Mitchell throwing 5 touchdowns for the 3rd time in his career, surpassed 40,000 passing yards in that game as well. Who was his main man? That would have been Kenny Lawler, who had 207 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns in the win. On the other side of things, when it came to the Red Blacks, yes, they got the loss, but a big win in one department as they got Drew Brown back. So is this a potential we'll see another shootout, another high-scoring affair in Hamilton tomorrow, do you think?
You know, the thing I think that has to happen for Ottawa is Ottawa last week had 9 penalties, 118 yards. They get some of the most penalties in the Canadian Football League, or they do have the most penalties. And last week, they had 4 what are called preventable penalties. And to understand penalties, there are preventable and that are not preventable. What does preventable mean? Before the ball snapped, Enoch. It's when you get a holding penalty when you're trying to block someone, well, that's part of the game of football.
Pre-snap penalties.
Yeah, but a pre-snap penalty or a preventable penalty is time count, offsides, illegal procedure, and I think their last one was they had 2 offsides. Yeah. So they had 4 preventable ones early in the game, and that just puts you in a position where, and all of those came on 2nd and long, Enoch. So now listen, you're sitting there 2nd and extra. You cannot survive that as an offense. I don't care who your quarterback is, who your play caller is. So they've got to prevent those easy ones. And Tommy Condell had a point this week. They're last in the Canadian Football League in big plays. And Tommy's point, which is a very valid point, is like we need to find rhythm to our offense. Because when we get more plays and we stay on the field, then you can take those shots eventually, give more opportunities for you to take those shot plays. So they've got to eliminate those penalties that just keep forcing them to 2 and out. Then they get some rhythm. Then they can start getting Drew to take some of those shots downfield.
I can't. I'm just looking at the defensive coordinators out there in Ottawa now. After watching the type of performance that the Hamilton Tiger Cats put on last week during their last game, I'm throwing all my playbook and I'm saying, wherever Kenny is, I'm putting 2, 3 guys on him. And it was just amazing to watch. And I love seeing this from these 2 guys. It's a high-risk, high-reward type of offense. Back to the ball. Because, you know, throughout the course of the season, they've been trying to have this type of game. They didn't have it, but when it showed up, you saw the results and you saw the stats that Laura was just talking about. And what was interesting is it's not like Kenny was just wide open. He had guys around him, and he was just making plays. And they're just saying, hey,
can we see that again?
Is better than yours, we're going to make the play.
Any chance we roll those 3 plays back again? Because I want to show something with these defensive backs against Kenny Lawler. Kenny Lawler, here's the thing. Notice something with all these plays. The defenders' backs are to Kenny Lawler. So right there, back to Kenny. When the defender's back is to Kenny, he's a great go up and get the ball guy. So if you're able to stay on top of Kenny Lawler and come downhill, stay on top of, like when he's doing this, if you can stay on top of him and then you can see the ball play through him, through the receiver, to the quarterback, you're able to come in and make the play on Kenny. Instead of having your back to it and having Kenny go up and dunk on your butt, you can play through him. He's an excellent high-point guy. He's got, obviously, both those great balls. If you're able to play through that, it's easier said than done. But if I'm a DB, I'm going to play off Kenny. I'm going to play on top of Kenny. And I'm going to play outside shade as much as I can and see through Kenny, through the quarterback, and make plays that way. That's the way I would teach it if I can. Sometimes you can't, but if you can, I would stay on top as much as I can.
Kenny's skill set is impeccable, though. You talk about the speed that he probably has. I think they want to stay on top, Chess, but he gets on them so fast, and his range is amazing to see. You know, his ability to concentrate and focus on the ball, and then balance. You saw one of the catches that he had. He caught it, kept the balance, and then kept running to score the touchdown. But what I love about that, yes, it was amazing, you know, performance by Kenny Lawler as well as Bo Levi Mitchell, but it's a message. They sent a message to the rest of the league saying, hey, look, if you're not double-teaming us, you're not triple-teaming Kenny Lawler, we are going to have a day. But at the same time, now it opens up opportunities for the Tim Whites of the world and Keandre Smith, and you talk about Shamar Bridges as well. Guys are going to have opportunities, more and more opportunities, because there's going to be so much attention that is going to be put on Kenny Lawler.
And Bo Levi Mitchell does, he recognizes when here's an opportunity, I'm going to take the shot play. He's going to look for that shot play every time. A couple of those plays where, you know, Kenny Lawler's just underneath just equal with that defender. He goes, I'm going to throw that every time because I know if I miss this short, he'll still out-jump the guy or he's going to run by the guy. So that's what, he's got the trust. It's taken him a couple weeks, but now he's going to throw it to him whenever those guys are equal, like you said, Davis, and he'll just run by him and go. And the one point I will say that is harder than people say, sometimes you can be in zone, Davis, as you know, but eventually zone has to turn into man-to-man based on the route concept. So Hamilton can scheme some ways to go, all right, well, corner, you're one-on-one on Kenny Lawler. You're still, because we've captured the halfback with somebody else. So sometimes zones do turn into man, but you might have to put a guy man-to-man on him and put a guy over the top of the ball game.
What I love about Kenny Lawler, and I love to talk about the things that a guy brings to the table outside of just the statistics, and he brings so much more. And you talk about it all the time, Coach, how Ted Gaviao, being with him in Winnipeg, coming to Hamilton, saying, hey, look, I had Bo Levi Mitchell, a gunslinger, and now I have Kenny Lawler. Right. Why don't I pair him with Kenny Lawler? Why don't I bring him? I'll pay whatever I need to pay to bring him in the building, but he does that, but that's the magic that comes from it. But at the same time, Kenny Lawler, I talked to the guys in the locker room out there in Hamilton, and they talk about the fact that he's their best player. You got to say that. He's their best player in the locker room right there. But at practice, in games, he has so much intensity that he brings to the practice. And as a coach, I'm sure you can appreciate this. It makes everybody else practice at that same high level. Luke talked about it last week when he was on the sideline of the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Toronto game. He said, this guy's chirping the punter. Like, that's the intensity that he brings every single game, and he does that in games. He does that at practice. Every player has no choice but to bring their best as well.
Can we talk about, speaking of chirping, can we talk real fast about the Bo Levi Mitchell and Chad Kelly going back and forth? I'm interested in that. I saw that. I read lips in the game after Bo scored the second to last touchdown. There was a little back and forth between Chad on the sideline, had something to say to Bo or to the offense. Bo said something back, and then after the next touchdown, Bo looked right over to the sideline and had something to say to Chad again. So, hey, I like this. I'm all for it.
Get your popcorn ready.
Rivalry,
two of the stars in our league going back and forth. It's all fun and games, but I like that's something, a rivalry I want to see.
After starting the season 0-2, the Ticats can now win their third game in a row and would draw even with the idle Montreal Alouettes with a 3-2 record. We only have a couple minutes left, but we do want to get into the Lions and the Elks. Both of these teams coming off big wins. For the Elks, it was their first of the season. For the Lions, it was a last-second Sean White field goal to complete the comeback over the Alouettes. And now we get an all-Canadian affair, a rematch when it comes to the quarterbacks.
You know what? I think Trey Ford did some good things. But I want to talk about Justin Rankin. How about that? Like the game he had, big run, big pass plays, you know, the explosiveness that he brings to that offense. You and I have talked about it before. A lot of the running backs in the Canadian Football League are 10-yard, 20-yard plays. This guy is a 70-yard play when he's got the speed to do it. Again, if they can bring more better play around the offensive line and the running back position, makes things easier for Trey Ford. And the defense, I thought, played better.
You talk about Jordan McSimick's involvement in this week. I felt like last week, at least for Trey Ford, he was the most comfortable that we've seen Trey Ford on the football field. Because of the defensive plays, there was a lot of reverses. Coach, some of your favorite plays, reverses and swing passes and bubble screens, to rank in a few of them as well. And so it was impressive to see Trey Ford from that perspective. We talk about it, Ches, quite a bit. We don't want to see him, Trey Ford, just, drop back and stay and try to force a ball down the field. Now they're kind of utilizing his skill set a little bit better. Hopefully it'll continue to improve.
Get balls and take the pressure off yourself. On first down, try to get the ball in the playmaker's hands, and they've done that. And then on second down and in money time in the fourth quarter when you need to, make as many plays with your legs and extend as many plays you need to, because that is money time, and that's what makes him great.
The Lions got the win back in week 1, 31-14. Nathan Rourke, who is expected to get the start on Sunday, 324 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. We are approaching the bottom of the clock here on TSN. Unfortunately, no new updates for you in regards to Mosaic Stadium and the start of the Stampeders Riders game. Players still not out on the field. Once they do, again, it'll be 30 minutes until kickoff. I guess at this point there is potential. Well, I won't say it. We'll see what happens.
Don't say it.
That does it for us right now.
Don't say it, Laura.
I won't say it. But they're all there, still in Mosaic, patiently awaiting the start of this one. We'll be back when we have kickoff or another update for you, as this is Friday Night Football here on TSN.
So worth the wait. Yesterday we sat here for 6 hours. That's no problem. When you have a good thing like the Riders, good things come to the patient. And today we are going to watch them absolutely destroy the Stampeders. Let's go.
Better late than never. The the Stamps and Riders are going to give it another go today. Yesterday's game was unfortunately postponed due to poor air quality at Mosaic Stadium, but I have a feeling this matchup will be worth the wait. The top two teams in the West are set to clash next in Regina.
With one of the better pass completion percentages in the league before he got injured, he returns and he hopes to bring him to another victory to keep him undefeated. Trevor Harris is back.
T-Money. Dedrick Mills has got to be key because they have to win on first down. That front seven of Sask is a problem. If Dedrick Mills gets going, that will be the key to this Calgary offense and VA all day.
The running games, yes, will be front and center. A.J. Ouellette will be looking to add to his league best rushing totals today as the Riders try to keep their unbeaten record intact. And yes, we had to wait a little longer than expected, but week 6, I think we can say safely, is now off and running here on TSN. Thanks for joining us. I'm Laura Dykin filling in for Kate Burness alongside Enoch Mwamba as well as Davis Sanchez. So here are the Stampeders looking at having another team, their first loss of the season. The Saskatchewan Roughriders, the only team who has yet to suffer a loss this season. A lot of good matchups here to get into. So Davis, let's start with you. Key matchup for you in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be with Reggie Bagleton out, Clark Barnes out for Calgary, two receivers, slot receivers. It's going to be Dom Rhymes. And can Dom Rhymes win? On second down, VA's going to need some help. We know about that Sask front seven. They stopped the run. Calgary's going to be in second down. Can VA get the ball down the field, and can Dom Rhymes win when need be? He's proven in the past he can be one of the better guys at 50-50 balls. Dom Rhymes has got to be huge.
Ooh, I'm going to go with a guy who's going to be tasked tonight with stopping the best rushing running back in the league right now, which is A.J. Ouellette. Yes, you could talk about the defensive line for the Calgary Stampeders. You got Miles Brown in the middle, Flor Milade as well on the edge. But I'm going to go and isolate Jacob Roberts. He's been active. I was talking to my producer before the game started. He said, I actually love this kid. And I said, I have been watching him. He was active when you look at the game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, all over the field, sideline to sideline linebacker. That's what I love, Davis.
I need AJ to score, so I hope he plays well and gets trucked in the end zone.
Well, Jacob Roberts is going to be in his way.
The Riders are looking to improve to 5-0 for the first time since 2013, but the Stamps have had a lot of success in Mosaic. They have won 5 in a row in Regina. And yes, all eyes on Mosaic today for this showdown between two of the best in the West. The Stamps and Riders will finally get week 6 going right after this.
Well, they say the best things in life are worth waiting for. And if that is indeed the case, this is going to be the best game ever. Yes, it's a clear afternoon at Mosaic Stadium in Regina, and we are ready to rock. Calgary comes in fresh off the big Stampede Bowl victory. The Riders perfect 4-0, coming in off a bye week, and they get their quarterback back.
Yeah, let's get to some football because, yes, the Saskatchewan Roughriders get Trevor Harris back in the lineup. He passed concussion protocol during the bye week. He's ready to go and is riding a career-high 7-game win streak going back to last year. Vernon Adams is 3-1 as a starter in Calgary. Maybe the team's most impressive win last week versus Winnipeg. He threw his first 2 touchdown passes as a Stampeder.
Dave Dickinson, 14-6 versus Sask in his career. 3-1 on the season, 1-0 on the road. And Corey Mace off to an excellent start once again. 2 wins at home, 2 wins on the road as well. Last year they lost at home against Calgary, 1 on the road against Calgary. Riders won the coin toss. They deferred. Calgary's going to take the ball. And 19 hours later, we get the battle for first place that we've been waiting for. Hopefully it was worth the wait, but the way these two teams have been playing so far, it should be. We are underway away finally at Mosaic. This will be taken just inside the 5 and brought back up the far sideline. A little bit of room to work and eventually taken down. Kalen Horton on the return.
In his career, Vernon Adams has a 4-2 record against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, a starting quarterback. Again, 3-1 this year. 41 wins in his career has brought some new energy to this football team, not just on offense. The entire team feels that positive vibe that Vernon Adams brings every day.
4-2 in his 6 starts against the Riders. 2 touchdown passes away from 100 in his career. They start on the 39. VA over the middle, intercepted in midfield. An early takeaway from A.J. Allen, and the Riders defense starts it with a bang.
VA likes to start quick. He started quick against the Bombers. He wanted to get a layered crossing route all the way across the field, and you'll see it right at the bottom of your screen. He's going to be patient with this, hoping this route can get open on the far side. Lets it go, but A.J. Allen has got good depth in his drop from the linebacker spot and is underneath to rip that down.
Early momentum swing in favor of the home side. Riders with 8 takeaways in their last 3 games. They've got one here early. Excellent field position on the Calgary 47. Screen out on the near sideline. And that will be taken out of bounds. Dante Myers with the first catch of the game. Here's a look at Trevor.
Well, Trevor Harris missed the BC game. Jake Mayer got the start there. 37-18 win for the Riders. They're 4-0. So Trevor Harris 3-0 in their 3 previous: Ottawa, Hamilton, and Toronto. Started 4-0 last year, and it was right about now where Harris was injured. Turned the team's fortunes around in a big way.
2 yards to Myers, 2nd and 8 for Harris. 3 options out to his short side left. Gets it away, and that'll be caught around the 40, short of a first down.
Boy, it'd be a tester. It's a tester for Brett Lowther. Comes in about 70%. But was 5 for 5 if they're going field goal, and I think they are. It was 5 for 5 against the BC Lions, so really snapped out of that 2-game slump he was in. But with the sudden change, good stop by the Calgary D.
47-yard attempt, left hash for Lowther to get the Riders on the board. That kick is up, and he nails it. 3 points off a turnover for the Riders. Vernon Adams Jr. trying to overcome an early interception. He'll have the ball when we return to Mosaic. A tough start today for Vernon Adams, but the Stampede Bowl, he was spot on, wasn't he?
Yeah, he really was. 222 yards passing. Did not throw an interception in that game and did not get sacked against the Bomber defense. Started fast, got a big lead in the first half against Winnipeg. Now he doesn't have Clark Barnes, and when he did, he was the MVP of the Stampede Bowl. And that's what you get when you're the MVP of the new Stampede Bowl. It's unofficial, but I'm hearing that it's going to happen again next year, so mark it in your calendar.
I love it. VA wants to throw again. He's got a completion up at the 50 and beyond into the hands of Eric Brooks.
Bryce Bell still not available in that offensive line, so same group that played in the Stampede Bowl against Winnipeg and did not give up a sack in the offensive line. And they haven't got it started just yet, but you can guarantee that Dedrick Mills will be a big part of this offense as the game goes on.
Top 2 running backs in the league on the field this afternoon. First down from the Calgary 54. And there's Dedrick Mills. Can he find some space? He does. There's a flag, though, as he picks up the first down and takes it inside the 45. But as he turned that upfield, a flag was thrown.
Holding, Calgary, number 23. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll repeat first down.
Fullback William Longley is the guilty party. It was right at the point of attack, as you mentioned, Dustin. It's just a nice jump cut to get to the outside here, and there's the holding right in the middle of your screen with the left hand, turning the shoulder pads that D lineman around.
A good start for Mills, wiped off the board. He'll stand in to the right of his quarterback on 1st and 20. Longley comes in for some protection as well. VA gets it away, finds a spot in the defense down inside the 50. That's Jalen Philpott for the first time today.
Yeah, real nice timing throw against the zone and finding that soft spot. Hear about it all the time when you see guys dropping and facing the quarterback. They're playing that zone, but he found the hole. 3 defenders around him, including Roland Milligan, who is a ball hawk. But Philpott found that nice spot for his quarterback.
17-yard pickup to Philpott has Calgary in business once again. VA on the roll to his right, dumps it off, and he's got a man down at the 35. And that one hauled in by Quincy Vaughn, who handles short yardage quarterback duties, plays a little tight end.
Vernon Adams on that play on this nice bootleg was a good fake. He gets outside and he has the easy one for the first down right in front of him, but wants more. Takes a bigger chunk with that throw.
Vaughn, quarterback for his first couple of years in college, then transitioned.
Oh,
and that pops out and the Riders are on it. CJ Revis, I believe, as it bounces away from Dedrick Mills. And the Saskatchewan defense coming up huge here in the opening quarter. Dedrick Mills has it knocked out from behind. CJ Revis on top of it.
Shane Ray with a great hustle play from the backside is going to get this ball out on Dedrick Mills. He's playing that wide side defensive end, inside pass rush move, but watch the hustle on the backside. Don't give up on the play. Keep with it. The shot from behind is what dislodged the football.
1st and 10 for the Riders on their own 27. They'll be on the ground here as well. Back to the line of scrimmage. Probably not much further for this Riders offense.
Well, this is not the offensive line that I think that Corey Mays thought he'd start the season with. There's been some juggling. Zach Fry, I should say, will play at left guard for Trayvon Tate. And the number 1 running back in the league is A.J. Ouellette. When you look at the stat of yards per game, he's almost at 90, and that tops the league.
And yards per carry, he's at 6.2. Was held to just 1 on that first down carry. Throwing situation here for Harris. 4-man rush from Calgary, and they get there. Harris throws it ahead. Calgary's going to hop on it. Trevor will argue that it was a forward pass, and it will be incomplete, I believe.
Incomplete.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down.
Incomplete. I don't think it was behind the line of scrimmage, and I don't think there was any receiver anywhere near it. It can almost be intentional grounding. I think that's maybe what Dave Dickinson is asking about. Is intentional grounding if there's no receiver in the vicinity.
Penalty flag has now just been thrown.
Intentional grounding, Saskatchewan, number 7. Lost it down, 3rd down.
Yeah, there was no, the backs both got out of the backfield on the snap of the ball and were running flat routes. So Trevor Harris was trying to get rid of it to save the loss, but didn't have an eligible receiver behind the line of scrimmage. If the ball goes across the line of scrimmage, you don't need an eligible receiver around. But you see, it's just O-linemen. Now, we've seen some O-linemen catch the ball, but they're in tight end positions.
Low driving kick. This is bobbled by Kalen Horton. Still having trouble with it. This get out of bounds. And he will. A little bit of an adventure. Yeah, for Kalen Horton.
You think? Getting a chance to get in the lineup. And a couple of injuries, including Clark Barnes, Reggie Bagleton from the beginning, but it's been a rough go here for Calgary on the road. First play of the game, interception by A.J. Allen. That was drive number 1. And then Dedrick Mills, when Shane Ray gets him from behind, coughs it up. And that one, with Horton just kicking it around there for...
It ends up going for a 70-yard punt when it was all said and done. Extra body in on the line here for the Stampeders. VA throwing again, and that is broken up. He was looking for Dom Rhymes.
You guys in this game that have played on the other team. One of them is Mike Rose, who's former Calgary Stampeder from 21 to 24. 24 career sacks as a Stamp. He plays against his old teammates. There's A.J. Allen already with a big stat. I've been loving his progression for the last 3-4 games since he's become a starter. And Tavon Campbell is out of the lineup. Antoine Brooks will play his spot.
Mike Rose, 36 sacks in 91 games with the Calgary Stampeders, and now pre-snap flags here.
Procedure, Calgary, number 60. 5-yard penalty.
You know, and I don't want to give Calgary an alibi, but they're the road team in what has been a very unusual 24 hours.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Like never in my time in this game have I seen a game canceled and played the next day. Had to do it because of the air quality issue. But I don't think the alarm clock's gone off for Calgary just yet.
5 wide for Adams.
There you go.
And he gets it out just inside the 35. And that is the second catch of the game for Jalen Philpott.
Yeah, really nice catch. He's out there with great splits. And you'll see his route. He takes a look at the defense, sees that they're playing high and really just an umbrella look defensively, and he's going to sit down rather than run through that deep coverage.
4 options out to the left for Adams. They're going to run it to the right. Cut back right up the middle by Mills, and he's got some room. Turns his legs out to the 50. First down, Stampeders.
Well, let's talk about these two running backs. We mentioned A.J. Ouellette. Now you got the number 2 guy in the league in Dedrick Mills. Yes, he has one fumble. Good forced fumble from behind by Shane Ray in the last series, but that's the type of running we've been seeing all season long from Calgary and from Dedrick Mills. He hasn't hit that 100-yard mark just yet, but been very close in 3 games.
How big a hole did he have to walk through there? Great job by the line opening that one up. Stamps from their own 50. Adams, midfield. And that's pushed ahead. Philpott heavily involved early in this game. He's got 3 catches for about 40 yards.
Mills opened up with a 94-yard game, had a 96-yarder against Ottawa, 93-yarder against the Bombers last week in that win, and there's the totals for both of these backs. They're very important to these offenses as quarterbacks, even if they don't have the ball in their hands.
Quincy Vaughn in to push it ahead. And gets it to the 50. Should be enough.
And with the injury to... With A.J. Ouellette starting, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are going with the Kadeem Carey as their backup with Bertrand Hudon out of the lineup and due to injury. So when you think about it, we've got 3,000-yard rushers in this game. See how much Kadeem Carey gets to play, depending on the health and possibly the rotation with A.J. Ouellette.
Fresh set of downs for Adams. This time they'll put it into the hands of Philpott. And he takes it for a pickup of about 3, maybe 4 yards on first down.
Yeah, Dave Dickinson just settling things down for Vernon Adams. Asked them about how that relationship is going. They both raved about how it has been excellent this year. Dave Dickinson loves a mobile quarterback. Encourages Vernon Adams to use his legs when he needs to.
4 receivers, wide side right, little draw, and some more room for Dedrick Mills. He spins his way to a Calgary first down inside the 40. Now they moved the ball well last time before the fumble, and they're doing it again here, Suits.
Yeah, well, again, just the turnovers early in this game have just sort of been the focus issue for Calgary, but some nice blocking up front for Dedrick Mills on a couple of runs, including this drop right into the secondary.
Mills catching a breather over on the Calgary sideline. Looked like Roland Milligan took the worst of that last play, and he's walking off on his own through the Rider sideline. Just over 5 to play. Opening quarter, Calgary marching here. Adams steps up in the pocket. Now he's going to take off, has some room. VA inside the 30, slides. And depending on where they mark that slide, it'll be close to a first down. Might be just short.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about with his mobility, and can do this at any time, take off and run, and a real good decision right here. Get where you can, hook slide. Don't take any hits you don't need to take as a starting quarterback. And that goes for all of them in the league.
Second and inches here. Vaughn will take care of business. Whoa. Pushes it ahead. There's a flag. Almost Tommy Stevens that thing. Broke free.
Big push off that right side of the offensive line. Gave Vaughn a chance to get the corner.
Offside, Saskatchewan, defensive line. Penalty is declined. First down.
Well, considering the start for Calgary with the 2 early turnovers, to be down 3-0 in plus territories, Dickinson's got to be pretty happy with that, I would suggest. Focus is tuning in a little bit better.
Play drive so far for Calgary. They don't want to be done just yet. VA pump fake to his left. Has a man in the end zone, wide open. Got it. Touchdown, Calgary. Damian Alford, his second in as many games.
Been impressed with this Calgary offensive line. The same group that beat the Bombers last week has given Vernon Adams enough time to go through his progression here. He checks over to the hitch, doesn't like it, looks down the middle, doesn't like it, and then finally sees the wheel route right on the rail, and he gets it out there to Damian Alford. Damian Alford, a
big boy,
newcomer, but he's got that reach. That catch radius we talk about all the time.
There's a reason you're the first overall pick in the draft. 6'6" receiver. Starting the season well. It's an 11-play, 88-yard drive that took just over 5 minutes, and it's the second touchdown of the year for the towering Damian Alford.
Really just a stop and go out there for Alford, who has to sell this so that the corner Exume is committed to the seam route. Stop it right here, guys. So here's the seam route. If the corner commits, you've got the one down the rail to Alford, and that's exactly what Vernon Adams saw. Now, he needs time for that to develop and to pull the corner. Kerfala Exume playing that corner on the wide side, but it takes that extra 2 seconds to get the corner to commit to the seam route, and then you've got that stop and go on the outside.
Despite a couple of turnovers, Stampeders do have a 7-3 lead on the road. This is brought back in a little bit of room. Blocking ends up letting him down, and they contain Mario Alford for the first time in this one. Damien Alford got a taste of the end zone last week against the Bombers. He's back there this afternoon. Luke Wilson in Regina for the first time last night. And while we had the delay, he provided a little entertainment. Was pass, kick. Let's send it on down to the sidelines today with Luke Wilson.
You know, Dustin, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't my best pass, kick situation. But I was impressed by Saskatchewan fans hanging in there last night. And there's a bunch from me here today. And I'll say, I think they're hoping they pick it up here because right now it's been all Calgary. If it wasn't for Calgary's mistakes, this game could be a lot uglier. And you start here, and I get it. It's the first play. You have this thing drawn up, but it's simply not there. It's a play action, and if you look at your running back in the flat here, you got to just check it down. Live to play another play, but instead we kind of force this ball down the field. And again, it's somewhere it's the first play you draw it up. You want to hit that big one, but you can't do that. And here you just feel sick to your stomach. When you pause the film here, this is what dreams are made of. You got a screen. It's a perfect play call, and then you get blown up at receiver. It was A.J. Allen out of Guelph. Blew the receiver up, blew that whole play up, and then you drop the punt again. I think Saskatchewan's fortunate that's only 7-3 because it's been all Cal, and it's going to continue to be all Calgary.
Oh, man, things go from bad to worse.
Again, and I know you guys were talking about it, but Calgary spent the night, and apparently some people were sleeping in dorms, and I think they're a little angry about it because they're coming out on fire right now.
Yeah, a couple of turnovers, they got their focus back, and you're right, the Riders certainly didn't take advantage of those turnovers.
Oh, that's one that
defense got the stops, and this was almost an interception. Ramalade gets the tip, almost gets his own tip.
Luke's right, though. I mean, without those turnovers, this thing could be blown wide open here early. Now they get it out to A.J. Oletz, who's tracked down from behind. Good tackle by Jacob Roberts to hang on to him.
I heard the panel talk about Jacob Roberts before the game started. 22 defensive tackles so far in this 25 campaign. That's 4 games, and he leads the team. So 48 making an impact over there on defense. You know, I know that Vernon Adams has been a real spark for this team, but their defense was ranked dead last year. This year, it's a different story. It's almost like they're playing like they don't know any better in a lot of spots, and Jacob Roberts has won.
Coach kicks it away from his 35. And that's bobbled again.
Wow.
Oh, he's having problems here, but he picks this one up. Nowhere to go. Stopped at the 10-yard line by Kalen Horton. Having a tough time. We talked about Luke yesterday. Here's how Claire kept busy during the delay. Having a pretty good time, throwing the ball around a little bit as well, and all that was just so exhausting for Claire Hanna that later in the night she had to have a nap. She's awake right now, and she's down on the sideline.
You guys, I'm just trying to make a case to be QB4 for one of these teams, but when it comes to the Riders, it was actually pretty much business as usual last night. Jeremy O'Day said they were here for 3 hours, they went home and slept, but as Luke kind of hinted, for the Calgary Stampeders, the story was much different because of Country Music Festival Craven here. Almost all of the hotels in the city are completely sold out, and so for the Calgary Stampeders, only 30 of them could stay at the Hotel Sask, which is where they were the night before. The rest, including defensive coordinator Baron Miles, had to go stay at the University of Regina in the dorm rooms, 4 to a unit, sharing a bathroom. But Baron Miles told me, you know what, it was kind of fun. It takes you back to your college days, but definitely a roller coaster for a lot of the players, guys.
Well, it was a unique evening, and, you know, I got to hand it to I shouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't be surprised with Rider Nation and the fans here in Saskatchewan. Luke mentioned it off the top, but there were probably 10,000 that were here at 11 o'clock when they finally pulled the trigger.
VA pulling the trigger outside, just inside the 30, as he finds Dom Rhymes, and that puts Vernon Adams Jr. over 100 yards already this game.
Yeah, nice throw out in the basically a shallow corner route, but you heard Davis talk about Dom Rhymes being a key here with Clark Barnes out, Reggie Bagleton out at the beginning of the season. And lean on Philpott and Rhymes.
He keeps his streak alive as well, 60 consecutive games with a catch. First down for Calgary on the 29. Mills made one man miss, tripped up after, and
so
30. Short
I ran into a bunch of fans who are all staying. They're trying to figure out a way to stay here overnight so they could come. The tickets were honored, of course, for the next day, and they're going to take care of the fans. But all the way up to 10:45, when they finally decided that it wasn't getting any better, the air quality was going to stay the same, and had to postpone the game to today. I'm guessing about 15,000 stayed until 10:45 at night, saying this could be a real fun kind of thing if the game ended at 3 in the morning.
It was a pretty good dance party, and they are running low on beer today.
Yeah. Oh, are they ever? In fact, I'm surprised if they have any in the province. Antoine Brooks back out there on the field. But you know, the one other thing that really surprised me, having played here in Saskatchewan, is there was, for the first time ever, I think, in my time in this province, no wind last night. No wind in Saskatchewan. I've never, ever said that before.
They needed it last night, did not get it, had to reset. Here we are.
Yes, yes, yes!
Alford takes this just inside the 40. And a good burst up to midfield, where he is forced out of bounds. And that will do it for the opening quarter. We got one in the books. We got a quarter of football under our belts here at Mosaic today. And it is the Calgary Stampeders with a 7-3 lead on the road. Well, this battle for first place in the West has been controlled by Calgary so far. They lead 7-3. Look at the first downs, 9-0. And what else jumps off the page?
Well, no wind in Saskatchewan, no first downs by a team in a quarter, and 1 yard rushing by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who lead the league coming into this game here this afternoon, running the football. All of that are anomalies.
We saw how Claire kept busy and how Luke kept busy last night. Here's how Suits kept busy on the camera. How did that go for you?
Okay, well, first of all, that's camera 2, and it was very, very difficult. Like, you know, you look over and you see how these guys are so good at their job, and you know, any shot you need of a replay or whatever it is, every player on the field covered. Here's a look at camera 2 that I was working on right there, and you know, it's just keeping it steady. It's hard.
That's hard enough.
Let alone finding guys, getting it in the right place. But yeah, we had some time to kill.
I stayed focused on the game. Everybody else is running around having fun. I just stood here in this spot for almost 4 hours ready for kickoff. Somebody had to be focused. Riders try to get that running game going, but just another yard for AJ Ouellette.
Yeah, this Calgary defense is the reason they're up 7-3.
23 carries, 139 yards for AJ Ouellette last week. Career high. Harris near sideline. That'll be a first down. Sneaks it in there to Mitch Picton. That's his second catch of the ball game.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about in the first quarter, though, that, you know, yes, Vernon Adams has provided a spark to this offense for sure, and to the entire team. But the biggest improvement has been this D from last year. And a defense that's playing fast. You know, that throw to the out was really the only option for Trevor Harris there.
Fullback Awachi checking into the game on that offensive line. 3 receivers out to the left for Harris. They're going to run it with A.J. Ouellette, but the Calgary defense takes them for a loss on the play. Let's take a look at it.
Miles Brown is a former Rider, and he is now in the middle of that Calgary defensive line that's done a nice job, especially against sudden change when the offense has turned it over and they've come off on the field and got a stop. In the linebacking core, see Derek Moncrief had a pick 6 versus former Saskatchewan Roughrider had a pick 6 against the Bombers, as did Damon Webb, who's bringing a very young secondary together. Great leader in the middle of that defense.
Moncrief had 5 tackles, the pick 6, and 2 tackles for a loss in that game against Winnipeg. Now Harris gets it away, but it's ruled incomplete as he was looking for Dante Myers, and that'll bring up a 3rd and long situation, and Joe Couch will be forced to come out and kick it away.
Yeah, I think that was Moncrief who made the play on that. Heard some of the leadership down there in the Saskatchewan sideline, all the way up here in the booth here, and we've got to wake up.
Couch drops it down at the 5, taken cleanly by Horton, and he will step out of bounds on the near sideline. A much clearer day in Regina. Riders trailing by 4 in the second. Welcome back to Mosaic. This seems a little hard to believe, but we've triple checked it. 2,519 days since the last home win for the Riders versus the Stamps. That's 5 losses in a row, and 10 of their last 11 they've dropped at home to Calgary.
Yeah, that last win by Saskatchewan here was August 19th, 2018. The starting quarterback for Calgary was Bo Levi Mitchell. For the Riders, Zach Kolaris.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how long ago that was.
VA pressured, hit as he throws. It hangs up there. A battle for it on the far sideline. And the big fella comes down with it. All 6'6" of Damian Alford needed on that one.
This is all about trust from Vernon Adams to the rookie Damian Alford on the outside, because he's well covered. And Vernon Adams saw that he was well covered. But he trusted that he's going to win the jump ball, win the 50-50 ball, and gets up over top of Antoine Brooks.
7-inch advantage in that battle for Alford. Stamps from their own 49. Adams wide open. Philpott inside the 45. Team leading 4th catch of the day for Jalen Philpott.
That's what I mean about the offensive line for the Calgary Stampeders. Watch the throwing lane that Vernon Adams has here. It's just 4-man pressure, but they're just washing that D-line aside. And we're talking guys like Mike Rose, Micah Johnson, rushing from the interior, just got washed out of there with a great throwing lane for Vernon Adams to throw that out.
Mills found some space. Get about 4 yards on that first down carry.
Talk to Corey Mace about what they did in the bye and what they were looking at when they were self-scouting, and he was, quite frank. First of all, angry at the penalties and wants to lower that number in a big way, but also saying defensively, we want to know, can we get pressure with 4? Can we even get pressure possibly with 3? And look at the different defensive matchups and setups that we need to go with as the season goes on.
6 more yards needed to keep this drive alive. Adams over the middle, perfectly timed to Rhymes, and he'll take it down inside the 20. Dominic Rhymes with his 2nd catch of the game.
Well, Dominic Rhymes on the outside he's going to run this dig route, and because Vernon Adams is staring right at Jameer Thurman, he freezes him. because Thurman was in a position to possibly make the play on that dig route, but he froze him because he stared him right down, and Dominic Rhymes ran right in front of him.
Stampeders in the red zone, 67% on the season coming into this game. Adams, a ton of time again. And they'll get it down inside the 15, right back to Rhymes. Tackle made by Roland Milligan.
Vernon Adams brings in Dominic Rhymes to protect here, basically maximum protection. 5-0 lineman brings in the back and a receiver to help with protection. Reason for that is that this part of the field, inside the 20, offenses are anticipating they'll see blitz. They'll see a lot more pressure sent at them, so bring in the maximum protection. Maybe you can make that touchdown throw.
Look at that first half from VA. 3 options out to his left. Throws in that direction. Alford will be stopped short of a first down. They're going to need 2 more yards here.
A lot of people in the country picked the Calgary Stampeders to finish last in the West Division. A lot of changeover, different defensive coordinator, younger secondary, new quarterback. They're proving them wrong right now.
And no theory of a slow start for so many new faces around.
Yeah,
kind of squash any conversation about that. They will settle for a field goal attempt here. Paredes, one of the best to ever do it. 16-yard chip shot from just inside the left hash. Puts it home, and the lead is 7 for the Stampeders. Trevor Harris trying to get this offense going for Saskatchewan. Claire Hanna will have more on the Riders quarterback when we return to Mosaic. The Riders coming in off a bye week. A little bit more of rest time for Trevor Harris after he was injured in week 3 on this hit against the Argos. For more on Trevor, let's send it down to Claire Hanna.
Well, when Trevor Harris missed that game against the Lions due to concussion protocol, he said all week leading up to that game it was a shouting match between him and the medical staff because he wanted to play so badly. He said, I think I'm going to be ready. But in hindsight, he said it was a good decision. Now, during the game when he received the head injury, Harris admitted he didn't feel right. He told me he felt fuzzy, symptoms lingered longer than he expected. But the rest did give him 2 major benefits. He got a lot of sleep, and then attention shifted to supporting Jake Mayer, and he learned that right now they have a really healthy quarterback room, and they have high IQ in that group too, guys.
A great pass here from Harris.
Timing right to the sideline, right where it had to be. Almost impossible to defend that for Adrian Green. As Dante Myers, I believe.
They are wearing the ever so popular Obsidian jerseys that people love here in Regina, unless you're in a broadcast booth. Harris, pressure picked up, and now he's on the run to his right. Throws out of bounds on the run. And speaking of runs, Harris is on a good one right now. One of the best of his career.
Yeah, the best of his career is 7-0 going back to last year. So he's on a 7-game win streak and has some work to do to get number 8 and make up for this deficit. Lots of football to be played here this afternoon, but pretty good numbers. Although when you look at Trevor Harris over his career, 3-11-2 against the Calgary Stampeders.
What's really crazy, 2 ties against the Stampeders. 70% completion percentage in those 7 straight games, 1 short of a record in the Canadian Football League that is currently held by Trevor Harris and Dane Evans, actually. He's going to have to get going here a little bit. 40 yards through the air on 5 of 9 for Harris so far in this one.
Yeah, right here, playing right off the nose is Jalen Hutchings, and he's going to get his hand on this throw. It's a delayed blitz, get a little extra pressure from the linebacking core and Jacob Roberts, but Hutchings got his hand on that ball and it incomplete.
Kalen Horton stands on his 10. This is a shanked kick from Couch. That flies out of bounds and draws a flag. Tough start for the Riders here at home.
If you're on a Gordon Ramsay show, you better know how to make risotto.
And scallops. And scallops. That's pretty much it. If you can do that, congratulations. You won the grand prize. Adams forced backwards in the pocket, and he trips and stumbles. And that'll go down as a sack for Shane Ray, I believe.
Shane Ray's off to a slow start statistically to the season. Was still looking for his first sack, and I don't know if he'll get credit for that as a sack or not, but he's already got a forced fumble. Remember early in that first quarter when he hit Dedrick Mills from behind, knocked the ball out. But there's, it just looked like he tripped trying to escape.
It's a loss of 14 yards. And Adams get it all back here. He's going to take off on the run. Now he's going to have to keep it. And he is forced out at the Calgary 31.
Veteran decision for Vernon Adams to look at 9 back in coverage or 8 back in coverage with 4-man pressure and just basically say, okay, I don't have a safe throw here, and we've got a mile to get to that first down marker, so let's just get a little more room to punt the ball away and reset. Veteran decision there by number 3.
Bassett gets it away from his 20. And that bounces. High hop. Alford near sideline. And he steps out of bounds. Mario Alford
having a year.
Pretty super.
Graphics didn't look like this when you started playing video games, but it did when I started.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty accurate. Here's Super Mario on the run, Montreal, and now 9 kick return TDs with the Riders. Franchise record there. He moves a little bit faster in real life.
That was fast back then. What are you trying to say?
One of the best in the biz, no doubt about it. Riders from their own 41. Just got a big defensive stand from their defense. They'll use the near sideline. That's close to a first down to Romastelli for the first time today.
Well, you think back to that Toronto game, the 39-32 win with about 20 seconds left. Mario Alford takes it back to the house. That's been his combined yards on the season, which leads the league. Playing with great confidence, pushed in training camp. In fact, there were some that thought that maybe his time was over, but not even close. One of the top returners, and we have a ton of them in the league.
Harris, wide side. And that one caught by Pickett, stripped away, and Calgary's on it. Moncrief says he has it.
Trips to the wide side of the field. Picton just runs that out. Timing is there. He's made the catch. Is he out before he's down? Is the ball out? This angle may be better.
Previous play is under review by the replay center.
About that right knee.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he was. I think that might stand. Here we go.
Another look. Command center, or replay center, I should say, is getting the same angles as you are at home. It's just a matter of that right knee, and was that down before the ball came out? One more new angle here. By the way, that's not my camera 2.
Are you sure?
No.
This might be the best one that we have.
Well, it was ruled a fumble, and I don't think you could see the knee clear enough to have clear and obvious ability to overturn that.
That's one of those, got to stick with whatever the ruling was
on the field. Either
probably,
way, yeah, either way. If it was ruled a completion and down by contact, or a fumble and recovered by Calgary, I mean, those were all the angles, and you can't tell if the knee was down or not.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It'll be first down, Calgary.
Stampeders surviving a couple of turnovers of their own in the first quarter. Now the Riders, a fumble from Picton. And Calgary will take over on their own 51.
Derek Moncrief was involved in that play as well. Looked like they held up Picton and then ripped the ball out.
Just under 5 to play in the first half. Out in the flats. Couple of blockers there to help. And that is Philpott having a very nice first half.
Eric Brooks is the key block to at least give Philpott a chance, or else this type of play is caught for a loss. You need that point of attack block, and that's where 87 comes in. Nice block right there to get him 7.
Philpott in the slot at the top of your screen. This time on the ground. And a first down in the hands of Dedrick Mills.
Pressure coming through the A-gap here, and the play is going away from the pressure. Again, Dominic Rhymes, who I've seen a few times in this offensive set, come in to help out with blocking, trying to seal the backside. Nice run off the left side of that offensive line.
Mills is averaging well over 6 yards, over 7 yards per carry so far in this game. Not that time. They'll shut him down. Former Stampeder Mike Rose. And this year draft pick Ali Saad in on the stop.
This defense for Corey Mace coming into this game this afternoon ranks number 1 against the run. Although I have to give that first half to Calgary in the battle in the trenches. Their offensive line has given Vernon Adams lots of time and opened up some holes for Mills.
Likely through the air here for VA. Riders send 5. Adams gets it away, and that's Rhymes. He's got it for a first down on the near sideline, just inside the 25. Vernon Adams, well over 200 yards already in this game. In fact, he's got 228 in the first half. 61 of them to Rhymes.
All right, the Stampeders once again looking very comfortable in Mosaic. Driving once again, looking to add some points on the board before the half. These two will get to work at the break, but right now let's send it back to Regina and Dustin and Glenn.
Big defensive moments here for the Riders right now. If you can hold them to a field goal, that'd be massive late in the half. Vernon Adams, 3 receivers already in this game with more than 60 yards. Now this is handed off, pushing it down inside the 15. And that was Choquette. First touch.
3 receivers over 60 yards for Vernon Adams. And Trevor Harris has just 58 yards passing in the first half. That's been how dominant Calgary has been. And again, I think they're winning the battle in the trenches with that offensive line, whether it's the run game or giving Vernon Adams time to throw.
Great burst from Choquette, 47th overall pick on Long Island in this past year's draft. Back in the red zone for Adams. A draw to Mills. And he takes it down inside the 10, his 8th carry of the ball game.
Vernon Adams on pace for a 400-yard game.
In his career. And he's more than halfway there right now.
So what does Corey Mace have to do, especially in this part of the field? Fill the gap, send pressure, lean on your defensive backs in zero coverage. Zero meaning no help in the middle in man-to-man.
And Adams calls a timeout.
Calgary.
And one of the ways, if you're playing in this chess match, if I'm the defensive coordinator in Corey Mace's spot and I say, okay, yeah, it's time to send some full-out pressure, put our DBs in zero, no help in the middle. That's what zero means, and just basic man-to-man, probably press for a lot of the guys, and just see if they can win in their matchups. Dave Dickinson says if you're going to do that, which he probably anticipates, I'm going to go with crossing routes and pick routes, because you pick off the man-to-man press coverage guy, and you got an open receiver in the flat. So we'll just move those chess pieces around.
The game is afoot here at Mosaic. Three options, wide side right for Adams. He's throwing it, and that's intercepted in the end zone. Taken away, now it's bobbled, and Calgary almost had it. A mad scramble, batted out at the end of the end zone. What is happening here? Well, let's sort this thing out.
Well, let's go all the way back to the beginning. I think that was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Into C.J. Rivas?
Yes.
Lengthy discussion as expected here.
Let's take a look first as they're discussing this. I believe that ball is tipped coming out of Vernon Adams' hands. Right off the edge. Yeah, there's the hand that gets it. Might have been Ray again. C.J. Rivas was not touched down in the end zone, so technically he can get up and run it out of the end zone, although I don't know why you would want to.
We have an interception in goal, followed by a fumble out of bounds. By rule, it's going to be the defense's ball, first down at the 30-yard line.
So the last to touch it going out of the back of the end zone was a Saskatchewan Roughrider. Although, wow, I don't know about that.
Like Dedrick Mills got a hand on that.
Like Dedrick Mills tapped it out.
Ball sits on the Rider 30.
Clean catch, not touched.
Saskatchewan dodges a bullet. Keyshawn Johnson, first time today we've said his name, and he's got about 8 yards through the air. A.J. Ouellette, nothing going on the ground yet today. He was -1 on 3 attempts before that one, and they're going to mark him just short of the 40.
There's probably some Calgary fans wondering about this ruling, and the ruling officially is that is a fumble. But whether it's Calgary or Saskatchewan tapping it out, it's Saskatchewan's ball. Calgary has to get full possession in the end zone.
It's essentially a touchback because the offensive player pushed it out of the end zone, right? They'll bring the ball out to the 30, which they did.
And give it, it's Saskatchewan ball.
And that Tommy Stevens against his former club picks up the first down for Saskatchewan, and they could come away with some points here in the final 93 seconds of the half. That would be huge. Homeside works from their own 42, four-man pressure from Calgary, and they get some heat on Harris. And he is taken down. Arimolade right in his face. 14 quarterback pressures for Arimolade coming into this one.
Nice inside spin move. Targeted right at the chest. Brings him down. I heard a few yelling from the Rider bench saying he put his whole weight on him, but that was just a clean tackle in the right target area.
An important 10 yards looming here for the Riders. Harris, he wants more. Down the field, and that is hauled in on the near sideline. Robustelli, his second big one of the season.
Jump ball for Robustelli with 3 receivers for the Riders out of the lineup due to injury. Sam Emelis, Schaefer Baker, Sean Bain. Robustelli getting a chance to play, gets the right foot down in field goal range for some points before the half.
Four receivers to the left, pressure coming from the right. Harris in trouble, he's hammered. The ball is out, and the Calgary Stampeders defense has done it again. A heavy pop on the Riders quarterback.
Clarence Hicks gets things started. He's going to be the widest out here for the Calgary defense, but 2 parts of this first half that have been impressive for Calgary. One is that's the free guy. So Trevor Harris doesn't count the free man off the backside, thinking he had a hot route to the field. Didn't work out. Hicks gets home. But the sudden change defense, when the turnovers have happened, have stepped up for Calgary, and their O-line opening things up on the other side of the ball have been the story of this first half.
Clarence Hicks does not have a sack this season, but had 19 quarterback pressures coming into this game. That was second best in the league, getting pressures 17.1% of the time. Straight up the middle on the handoff. Might be a loss of a yard on the play.
Just impressive, because that is such a momentum swing. I mean, Calgary was down inside the 10-yard line, turned it over. Saskatchewan takes it back with just over a minute to go with a chance for points to close the gap or maybe tie the game going in at halftime and take all the momentum. And Clarence Hicks says, not sudden change, not this defense.
Second and long for Adams. He's hit as he throws. A completion to Tevin Jones. And he's mighty close to a first down.
Yeah, it was just a speed rush off the end, and Joshua Coker's got to step out in his protection, in his pass protection. Pass mode, here he comes. He's going to step out and misses him. What a first half. Maybe the best first half for Shane Ray as a Rider.
Best game so far for him this season, for
I
sure.
think so. He may have been the guy that got his hand on the ball down there, too. Check that, make sure we got the right number.
Third and a yard. Quincy Vaughn up under center. And he's got the first down for Calgary with 43 seconds on the clock.
I asked Corey Mace about short yardage. I asked him, did you hear me talk about how I'd like to see offenses evolve to spread offenses in short yardage? You can bring down the splits of your O-line, but keep the receivers in there so they have to be covered down. You take defenders out of the box. He said, short yardage, the way we're doing it, works over 90% of the time. I think that's why no one's changing.
That is what he said. He said it politely, too,
yeah,
though.
very politely.
Adams lays that one out, and you know that's a high ball when Alford can't get a hand on it.
on there. Big first half for Alford. That's pretty smooth route running too. He's not just about that catch radius and jump ball. Let's see the quarterback saying my bad on that one.
They'll get another crack at it here. 33 seconds to go. Great halftime coverage coming up here on TSN. Adams over the middle. He's got Rhymes, and Rhymes will go down just shy of the 30 with 25 seconds on the clock. Field goal range accomplished here for the Stampeders offense.
Yeah, a lot can happen in the final 3 minutes of the half and the game in Canadian football. We've seen Vernon Adams thread the needle a couple times. You need a throwing lane to do that. I mean, if you got an old lineman right in your face getting pushed back, he can't make that throw.
Adams inside the 15 this time, and he gets it into the hands of Eric Brooks, his second catch of the game. 17 seconds to work with.
Wow, Vernon Adams is closing in on the 300-yard half and missed a corner route for another 30.
22 yards away from 300 in the first half. Adams with time again to the end zone. Touchdown, Calgary! Eric Brooks catches the 100th career passing touchdown for Vernon Adams Jr.
What a drive offensively. They get the stop on defense and the sudden change after the turnover in the Saskatchewan end zone goes to the Riders. Defense steps up again, and in less than a minute, Vernon Adams puts another major on the board.
Paredes for a 14-point lead, and he's got it. Okay, let's go down to Luke Wilson, fired up about this Calgary offense.
Yeah, Calgary has been dominant this entire game on both sides of the ball, and it's kind of fun to figure out what they did here. And if you go back to the first touchdown, not the one that just happened, I want you to take a look here. So this is actually a fake screen to Philpott with the time as their leading receiver. But watch Saskatchewan's top two defenders bite in that screen. And now at this point, you have three verticals against two deep defenders. So you can blame Exume, the field corner, all you want, but he has to squeeze with that seam. That's how the Canadian game works. So when you run this back here, that's how it's going to go. And then if you look to the next very drive, they actually throw a screen. In Calgary is very unfortunate. We get off the block for Saskatchewan. This thing should have went more. It was a very bizarre ending of that drive. And now we're just playing, backyard pitch and catch. He's manipulating defense, he meaning Vernon Adams Jr., and coming back, the guys are sitting in zones. Calgary's been very, very impressive offensively.
Yeah, they're having their way right now with the Riders. It's been an outstanding first half. Vernon Adams is at 295 passing yards in the first half. And as Luke mentioned when we had him on in the first quarter, this thing could have been blown wide open earlier in the football game.
Yeah, a couple of turnovers early in the first quarter.
Alford, Super Mario here, do something. Not this time, he's hammered just inside the 20. That's Dante Myers on the return. And now some flags coming out there. The penalty on the Paredes extra point was for pyramiding. That's why it was 10 more yards tagged on there. Trevor Harris, 9 of 14, 98. No interceptions. VA's thrown 2, but he's got 2 touchdowns and 295 yards.
Yeah, and when you looked at that first quarter for Saskatchewan, they kind of went away from their formula.
10-yard misconduct penalty against Saskatchewan, number 47. First down.
Went away from their formula in that first quarter and start this game and didn't get A.J. Ouellette established. Now, you got to give credit to the Calgary defense. Part of the reason for that is that they were stopping A.J. Ouellette when they did try to run. but just 1 yard rushing in the first quarter.
Only 4 carries.
Yeah.
Calgary has had the ball for 21 minutes in the first half of this ball game. Vernon Adams having his way with the Riders for the most part. Trevor Harris and Saskatchewan will go to the room looking to find some adjustments here at home. It's been a great game so far for the first overall pick in the 2025 draft out of Syracuse, Damian Alford. 3 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown.
Some nice catches for sure. You're just taking a look at them, but also some very smooth route running.
One of 3 receivers to have 60 yards in the first half from Vernon Adams. Damian Alford is standing by with Claire Hanna.
Damian, touchdowns for you in back-to-back games now, and you guys started this game with turnovers on your first 2 drives. How did you reset?
Listen, we got a tremendous amount of vets on the team that know how to keep the blood flowing, keep us going. We know that turnovers can happen at any point in the football game. We just got to know how to bounce back from it, and we have an exceptional quarterback named VA that can motivate us to come back from that. So, yeah.
I noticed you and VA did a moose celebration after that touchdown. How do you explain that?
Well, obviously the story of the moose in Syracuse and everything, and VA brought it back here, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to embrace it, and we came up with a celebration like not too long ago, and we just said that's going to be the moose celebration, and that's what it's going to be going forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Laura, it's cooking here. How is it over in Toronto?
Well, the Antlers are up here as well inside the studio. All Stampeders there in that first half. Davis, Enoch, and Laura back with you once again. And considering how the game started for VA, throwing an interception on the very first play of the game, I don't know. Me, for one, wasn't expecting him to go 20 for 25 for 295 yards, taking advantage of that Saskatchewan pass defense, which is very suspect once again, Davis.
Yeah, I think Vernon Adams is pretty darn comfortable in Dave Dickens' offense right now. He's absolutely dealing. If you look at the preview to this week's matchup, it was the superlatives of Trevor Harris, his pre-snap, the way he processes things pre-snap, his poise in the pocket, the comfort he has. All those things are true in the first half. But they're true about Vernon Adams. He's been so comfortable in what he's done. I love it. We look at a couple plays here from VA early in the first half. The poise he has, if you look, first of all, give credit to his offensive line. A great job. But VA's able to get back there and then, go through his first read, his second read, and then take off and run. Later on, you see VA again. That doesn't throw. Again, doesn't like his first read, has a clean pocket. And then we talked about it in the pregame. Guys got to make the bubble screen Luke just talked about. Guys that got to make plays. He's got 2 of his top receivers out, making plays for VA. VA wants to get the ball down the field. It's strong hands. He wants to get the ball downfield, and these guys are making plays. I said yesterday, this is probably one of the bottom half of the CFL. When you talk about receiver groups, they all can't be at the top, but this group came out and said, maybe we deserve some more credit, but VA, the poise he showed in the first half, going through his reads, taking off what he needs, credit that offensive line. I love what this Calgary offense
I mean, you look at the time of possession, it's been absolutely dominant for the Calgary Stampeders, and a large reason for that has been the defense for the Calgary Stampeders. They're doing a great job tonight on A.J. Ouellette, the rushing leader, but on the other side, they're keeping the ball in their hands by handing it off to Dedrick Mills, and he's doing an amazing job as well, finding yards, breaking tackles, and continuing to hold on to the ball, not making any mistakes as well with it. Look at him. He has great vision, patience, and he's continuing to gain yards after yards as well. A.J. Ouellette on the other side. Look at this play right here. Jacob Roberts. I talked about the young man, and that play right there is elite. He looks like he's been in the league for 4 or 5 years making a play like that on A.J. Ouellette. And A.J. finishes the first half with 4 touches, 1 yard, Davis. 1 yard, and that we never would have expected that to happen right now. And so that right there is the story of the game so far.
And that's the thing with the Stampeders defense, right? Picking up right where they left off last week against Winnipeg, making Zach Collaros and company look a little pedestrian there. And you see Trevor Harris and all of this excitement with him coming back after getting hurt back in week 3, but he hasn't looked right either in this one, Davis.
When was the last time we saw Trevor Harris this uncertain when he jumped back?
Never. We haven't seen it in a long time.
He's not seeing pictures. He's not not seeing clearly. Let's give your guy Bob Slowick, let's give my guy Barry Miles credit here. You just said it, Laura. Last week they looked really good against Winnipeg. Now against this Sask offense, again, a defense that maybe not many had high expectations for. I promise you, after this game and what we saw, at least in the first half, what we saw last week, this Calgary defense, for certain, I can't wait to go back and look at the film because they are doing a lot of things pre-snap to fool Trevor Harris, who's seen it all.
This is wild. These stats are wild.
Yeah, he's 9 of 14 in the first half, and he's struggling, Chad. He is struggling, and he is used to getting the red ball really quickly. The first look is not there. Second look's not there. By the time he's looking for his third, Hicks is on the scene, and Florian Orlade is on the scene as well. It is tough for him. We talked about them stopping the run game, but they are doing an amazing job in the pass game as well.
And real fast, we talk about how great Trevor is pre-snap at processing it, at seeing things.
He's having trouble tonight, man.
And the one thing about Trevor, he's great at that. But if you can get him off his first look and make him move, he can't move. He's not a running quarterback. So you get him off his looks, now you have him where you want him.
The Riders averaging almost 34 points per game, only 3 to show for it there in that first half as the Stamps have the 2-touchdown lead. More coming up here at the half as we start to look ahead to the second game of our doubleheader between Hamilton and Ottawa.
Well, they say the best things in life are worth waiting for. VA over the middle, intercepted in midfield. In the end zone, wide open, got it! Touchdown, Calgary! To the end zone, touchdown, Calgary!
All right, well, coming up, our second game of the doubleheader today. It is the Red Blacks taking on the Ticats. This is the first game of the home-at-home. Ottawa looking to avoid a third straight loss. Hamilton looking for a third straight win. We've got it for you, TSN, as well as CTV. So Paul LaPolice will be calling that game along with Rod Smith. He wasn't able to get to his coach's playbook this week because the game was postponed. Yes. So we're going to give a little homage to him here. Talk about these Ticats who just put up a 50-burger on the Argos last week. What's working so well for Hamilton right now?
Well, a lot of the stuff that they're doing, Laura, is like pre-snap, just by alignment. Right here, you see already, it's 4 guys down over here, so 4 on 3, and up top is 2 on 3. So Bo says, okay, I'm definitely going down here, right here, passing it to Kenny Lawler. He's making things happen. Just by numbers, you know that they're going to be successful.
This one here, you see the Mike linebacker vacate out there right now. He knows that slot receiver. It's got one-on-one. No inside help for that halfback. Bo sees that, gets that motion out there pre-snap. As soon as he sees the move, he likely knows his man there. There's a hole vacated, boom, quick slant. So that pre-snap movement is giving Bo the picture he wants to see.
This is a good one right here. They're in zone defense. They're bringing pressure off the edge. Tim White is going across the field. There's no real man adjustment. Now you got 2 guys that are playing coverage high up there. And what do you talk about? What do you tell the linebacker?
That depth from that linebacker right there. Great depth to take away that inside breaking route. But in doing that, he gets out-leveraged. And Tim White out there in the little bubble stream. So just
never get out-leveraged if you're a linebacker that got the flat. And that's what happens when you're in a position like that.
Pre-snap motion gives you tells you a lot before the snap. They're doing a great job of that. And if you can't disguise well as a defense, veteran quarterbacks like Bo are going to have their way.
Bo Levi Mitchell again passing 40,000 yards for his career last week. And we know what Kenny Lawler was up to as well. Ottawa, they've got Drew Brown back. That offense looking a little rejuvenated as well. So we could see another high-scoring affair on these TSN airwaves. You excited?
I mean, we snatched Lapo, we snatched your playbook. Give me that.
I think you like it. Hopefully he was able to watch. I think you guys did it justice absolutely there. This is fun up here. I like it.
Just like Debo takes your bike, I take your playbook, Lapo. Give me that.
Coachless playbook. I love it.
All right, so again, we've got Ottawa and Hamilton coming up here in just a few hours. But of course, we've got the second half of this one coming up. As we said, the Moose have been out at Mosaic, and that Stampeders holding on to that 2-touchdown lead.
Welcome back. I have to say it's an absolutely beautiful afternoon. This is a great day for a football game. It worked out pretty well, I guess, after the delay last night. But not if you're a Riders fan. They trail 17-3 at the half and pretty lopsided in some of those categories. Defensive end Shane Ray standing by with Claire Hannah.
Shane, you had a sack and a forced fumble at pivotal moments. How do you continue doing more of that?
I'm just hustling to the ball. You know, we just practice on giving full effort. I've been working hard. We've been working hard all week, and just what I've been able to do is just my work showing on the field today.
Calgary put up 17 points in that first half. What's going to be the key to limiting some of that offensive production?
We've been giving up big plays. We got to stop the run first, and then we got to stop these plays into our zone. Right now, they've found a good rhythm, but after these adjustments, we want to see if we can stop that.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you.
All about the adjustments every time, isn't it, Suits?
Oh, football is all about adjustments, especially at halftime. And Corey Mace, I would anticipate, will send a little more pressure, see if he can get Vernon Adams out of this rhythm he's in.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of pressure in that opening half from the Riders, so we'll see if they switch things up there. Saskatchewan will have the ball to start this half, which is good news. The bad news, though, is that Super Mario Alford is out and will not return in this game. A little bit of a left ankle roll there.
Yeah.
Kadeem Carey back, and Dante Myers. Shout out to the truck for the close-up of the numbers from up in the booth. Nice work, boys. Thank you. We're underway. Can the Riders find a comeback in this battle for first place? This will be returned just outside the 30. Quick spin, and Trevor Harris trying to jumpstart an offense.
Yeah, and do they go back to their formula and their 4 wins to start the season, which is getting A.J. Ouellette involved in that offense, because it wasn't exotic blitz time for Calgary by any means. They sent some extra guys occasionally, but you see in these highlights, it's a lot of 4-man pressure. Flo Rimolade got there. Hicks got there. Calgary +1 in the first half.
Calgary pressures the quarterback a ton, had just 3 sacks coming into this game. They do have one there. There's a slip for Keyshawn Johnson. Quiet first half for Johnson. Had just 1 catch for 8 yards. Gets 6 on this one.
He had the big game in Hamilton. 288 yards on the season, but that big drive in Hamilton got them, really was the reason for that win.
Offense still operating without maybe its best receiver in Emilus.
Schaefer Baker.
Another body missing. Near side, Picton waits for that one, and it falls in his hands for a first down for Saskatchewan.
You heard Davis at halftime talking about Trevor Harris's read ability and how he looks and processes before the snap, pre-snap. So right now the Calgary defense is forcing Trevor Harris to throw it outside. All these throws are right at the sideline. They're not giving up anything over the middle at this point.
From the 45, Robistelli made a few guys miss. To be stopped about a yard shy of a Rider first down, creeping towards midfield.
Tommy Stevens time.
There he is, big fella into the game. Robistelli had 3 catches on the season coming into this game, and he's got 3 for a team-high 52 so far this afternoon. First down, Stevens. Job's done for Tommy, and he'll head back to the sideline. It's a big man moving that ball ahead for the Riders. A couple of touchdowns this season. Over 20 during his time with the Stampeders. 3 receivers, short side left for Harris, looks to the right, throws to the right. It's about half of what they need on first down. Back to Dante Myers out in the flat.
So everything outside. So this is the outside cut. This is the outside zone right here. Don't allow anything in the middle and force Trevor Harris to go through those progressions and work his way out. You can see how Micah Tights is slow to drop from inside, really the hook area, out into that flat. So it forces Trevor Harris to throw it to the flat. It's a longer throw. They're protecting the middle.
Harris over the middle this time, and he's got a man down at the 30. Keyshawn Johnson takes it inside the 20, and the Riders putting together the best drive of the ball game.
And this is the first time, or one of the first times, that Calgary gets up and press, and now Trevor Harris says, okay, we're not seeing that inside-out zone look. So now in press coverage, I've got man-to-man, and I can run an inside dig route with the safety high.
It was the safety, Damon Webb, who ended up making the tackle on the play. Harris. And the Riders are marching. Now he's going to look for an end zone shot. Got it! Touchdown, Saskatchewan! Robustelli's got its first! Riders have life!
Robustelli shows you a little bit of a burst. At the top of the route, an extra gear. Accelerates to the football. And that is the advantage offensively of a 25-yard end zone.
Father making a 7-point game, and that's exactly what he will do. The best game of Robustelli's career. He's got his first CFL touchdown to cap off a 7-play, 77-yard crucial drive.
Trevor Harris needs to find a way to get some traction here. He starts this drive out with Joe Robustelli on the quick hitch. Thought he may go back to the formula that's been successful so far, which has been a lot of A.J. Ouellette, but not on this drive. He's slinging it, and he gets Robustelli to finish the drive that went 75 yards for a touchdown over the top. He's calling him Jellyman, because that's what they used to call Greg Ellingson. Jellyman. Jellyman. Let's keep it rolling. Come on. I have no idea why, but that's the nickname.
Harris is now 75% for 173 and a touchdown. Deep kick. Brought back ahead. Heavy blow on Kalen Horton. What a first half for number 3 in red and white.
Yeah, he was really pitch and catch, almost like he's playing against air in that first half. I mean, got some real good protection up front from the offensive line, some real nice throwing lanes. Almost 300 yards passing in the first half. A couple of big catches by Damian Alford, the #1 pick. But yeah, I would suggest that Corey Mace, one of his adjustments will be more pressure, especially on second down.
Adams' career high, 488 yards. He's 5 shy of 300, and he's got Alford wide open down the field, and now the race is on to the 20, to the 10. See you later. House call. Alford, second of the game, and VA strikes again.
The Moose celebration one more time for Damian Alford and Vernon Adams, and this is a bust. The coverage is a bust for Saskatchewan because 80 is wide open in behind coverage. And he runs away from Antoine Brooks.
81 yards. Adams to Alford. VA's now at 376, 142 of them to the rookie receiver.
Bro, you're not done here. You got more work to do.
Looks like a man-to-man matchup. And Antoine Brooks, who's playing for Tavon Campbell, gets caught peeking. When you're in a man situation, whether it's a zone look to start and that turns into a man, or just straight man-to-man, like this looks like this is. Watch the peak as this play develops. Man-to-man, I'm going to be in my back pedal. I'm opening. I'm stopping here. I'm looking now back at the quarterback, not at my receiver that's running behind me, and that gets him in trouble. Oh.
Huge day continues.
Well, Claire asked about the Moose celebration. He gave you a little bit of an explanation as to why they're going with that, but it's been early and often all game. 142 yards. Damien Alford.
He had 4 catches coming into the season, but with Clark Barnes out, that's right. A chance for him to start, and he might have locked himself in here moving forward. He's got 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. They used the first overall pick on him. That 81 yards that VA just hit, that's the longest touchdown pass of his career. And a major buzzkill for Ryderville here in Mosaic. Well, you instant response.
If you're Dave Dickinson, you can't take Alfred off the roster. Clark Barnes can come back on for sure if he's healthy. He had an ankle in that game against Winnipeg, but after this game this afternoon for Alfred already, we're not even through the third quarter. I don't know how you take him off the roster. He's won some jump balls. He showed some great route running, and he ran away from Antoine Brooks after he caught that deep ball.
Got that 6'6" stride going.
Oh, he just took off. Be great in the 200 on that back 100 meters.
All right, Trevor Harris coming off of his best drive of the game. He's got another man wide open. Robustelli again, and he pushes past the defender, and that's going to be a first down for Saskatchewan. So both Alford and Robustelli coming out parties here in this game.
You got the sense, though, that Tyler Richardson on the corner and possibly Adrian Green, who has a couple of interceptions on the season so far, might want to jump one of those quick outs, especially on first down that Trevor Harris has been throwing to just get himself in a manageable second down situation. They're young out there. I mean, 4 years for Green, 3 for Richardson, so it's not like they've been long-time starters, but they're not new and rookies either.
We're going to be ready to blow this one in. Calgary's defense so far this season allowing a league best 20.3 points per game. Held Winnipeg to 16 last week. Trips to the right there for Harris. Goes to his running back, A.J. Ouellette, who's wide open, and Ouellette pushes it out past midfield. And he's going to rumble it down inside the 50 for the Riders.
Well, this is the 2 things that A.J. Ouellette, when you get the ball in his hands, will do for you. He's coming out of the backfield. He's going to be the check down basically for Trevor Harris, although it looks like it's a design play to get him out there in space. But he brings that, first of all, the ability athletically once he gets the ball in his hand, but also the attitude. He's attacking. He's searching out contact.
Saskatchewan looking for a bounce back of their own. Harris, far side. Picton's got it.
They're going to take one of those. They're going to continue to This is the game that goes on, the cat-mouse game between the DB and the quarterback. And this is a veteran guy. He'll keep working those outs, and then all of a sudden the Calgary Stampeders in their secondary will go from a sky coverage, which is a corner that's high, to a cloud coverage, which brings the corner down. So he'll line up high, make Trevor Harris believe that this area down here is still open, and then he'll jump it.
That's Onyeka in a corner right now at the bottom of your screen for Calgary. 10 completions in a row for Trevor Harris. Will this be 11? No. Turned around Duncan Busby. First time today we've mentioned his name, and it'll be 3rd and 6.
It almost looked like Trevor Harris here was anticipating Duncan Busby to gear it down a little bit as soon as he cleared that one linebacker, because the safety Damon Webb was still in the middle. So that looked like a communication issue.
So a 52-yard attempt for Brad Lowther. 21 of 39 in his career, 0 for 2 this season from beyond 50. His long this year is 48, just inside the left hash. That one never had a chance. It's going to be brought out of the end zone by Horton, and Horton takes it all the way back up. Little stumble, and he's taken down. Boy, was he moving. And he stopped just shy of the 35. We're going to have more on Damien Alford with Claire Hanna when we return. All right, for more on the Moose, let's send it down to Claire Hanna.
Well, when Damien Alford began his career at Syracuse, he was a tall, gangly, skinny rookie, and so the veterans decided to call him Bambi. Now, he had one really good game. After that game, they said, okay, you know what? You've graduated to Moose. But when he transferred to Utah, that nickname kind of get away. So then when he rejoined came to the Calgary Stampeders, VA did some research and found out, okay, we got to stick with this Moose nickname, especially because he's Canadian, guys.
The Moose on the loose tonight. Today, Vernon Adams on pace for 602 passing yards. CJ Revis in his face there.
Yeah, this play just had some timing issues. And Revis timed up his blitz quick, very well.
Saskatchewan defense going to have to find a way to slow these Stampeders down. From the Calgary 35, 3 to the left, VA on the run, and he's going to throw it away on the far sideline. There's some pressure suits.
Yeah, this is what they've had to do. I mean, Jameer Thurman's they're gonna move Malik Carney into the middle. Jameer Thurman on the line of scrimmage. That's 6 up front. There is 6 to protect, but one of them is the back in Dedrick Mills, and he takes off and gets out in the route. So one extra rusher. Vernon Adams knows it, gets rid of it, and saves a loss.
Dante Myers back to return if you're just joining us. Mario Alford out for this game, will not return. Bassett gets it away. Myers has it bounce off his helmet, but he picks it up on a one-hop. And picks his way out beyond the 30. Calgary Stampeders in full control on the road in Regina. I didn't think he was coming back after staying up so late last night. But
he was up, and he was here at about 10:45. Camera 2 picked him up walking out of the building.
Yeah, he had a couple. He didn't want to leave, but they made him go home. Harris hits the back of a defender, I believe, and does not get to A.J. Ouellette.
Yeah, off the left side, I think Zach Fry was working his guy, his D lineman, and twisted him right into the throw. Like it was Miles Brown he was working against, and when he twisted him, he threw him right in the throwing lane.
Miles Brown, 3 years here. with the Riders. 8 career sacks over that stretch. Doesn't have one yet as a member of Stampeders, and that one was almost picked.
Told you he was going to do it.
Richardson was all ears, almost got it.
It was exactly what we talked about with Richardson. Watch him pretend like he's going to be in that deep outside third again, but watch how he baits for this short out route that Trevor Harris has been throwing to the curl, that Trevor Harris has been throwing all game long, right along the sideline there. Waits it, baits it, jumps it, just doesn't make the catch. He knows it too. That was the setup from the last 2 series.
Couch hangs this one up there. Horton near side, and he steps out of bounds. Calgary.
Talk about that one for a
Looking
while.
for more. Well, what has happened to the league's best rushing attack? For more on that, let's send it back down to Luke Wilson.
Yeah, Dustin, this Riders offense, it's predicated not just the rushing, but their whole scheme is they need to establish a run game. And then off that, they have RPOs. Their quick games becomes much easier, and they can take shots down the field. The issue today is the run game has been absolutely stymied. If you look at some of these plays here, you're looking for push from this offensive line, who I think, and I talked about pregame, an incredible offensive line. They simply haven't gotten. So again, there's no movement here. A.J. Ouellette doesn't have many places to run, and that has kind of bled through the rest of their offense. So now we're not even play actioning because guys aren't going to play downhill. So the thing about it now, if you're the Riders, is there is still a lot of time left. I think you still need to go back and try and establish this run. It's not an inconceivable amount of points to overcome. I think they got to get back on schedule, get A.J. Ouellette going, and potentially close this 14-point gap.
You answered the question I had, but can you just abandon it at this point when, as he said, they have so much success with it up until this game?
No, and there's no way with a quarter and 5 minutes to go. You stick with what's got you here and got you at 4-0. By the way, 5-0. The last time the Riders did that, they won the Grey Cup in 2013. But they've got a lot of work to do to close this gap, and the run game would be a good start.
In this game, Calgary 86 rush yards. The Riders have 5. Coming in, they average 138 a game, and just nothing thus far this afternoon. And Luke showed you why it's not happening. Here's Adams in trouble in the pocket, gets it away. Bit of a highlight reel catch from Mills, but it won't be enough. It'll be a 3rd down, and they'll be forced to kick it away again.
Remember that last 2nd down we showed Jameer Thurman going on a blitz? He's going to line up in the line and then drop out of there. So, I think Vernon Adams, the pockets does collapse on him for one of the first times in this game, and he's trying to get the check down to Dedrick Mills, but it was a heck of a catch. But Thurman had showed blitz and dropped out of there. He was right there to make the tackle. Or in this case, the touch.
Myers stands on his own 34. Pass it, big kick, it's going to back him up. Takes it at the 25, assesses things, and nothing will open up for Myers.
When Luke was talking about getting that run game going in A.J. Ouellette and trying to activate him again, you don't necessarily have to do that just between the tackles. That doesn't mean you have to just run into A or B gap. You can get him, swing him out, get him into space, get him the football that way.
I would say 4 carries. They've almost already kind of abandoned the run game. They've just sort of stayed away from it. That one pushes ahead, and as basic as that was one of their best carries of the ball game.
Yeah, and one of their best carries, and now look at the situation on 2nd down. Completely different, where Mark Mueller now can call those RPOs, where you're faking it, possibly faking it to A.J. Ouellette and pulling it, or giving it depending on what the defensive end does. So it opens things up for Trevor Harris in this offense.
That went for 3 yards. It was their longest carry of the ball game. Ouellette. Calgary's going to bring some extra bodies. Harris steps up in the pocket, down the field, drops it in there just inside the 30. Rubistelli again. He's on fire here this afternoon.
comes from Robustelli. Schaefer Baker likes it. His teammate not dressed in this one this afternoon. This one coming back to the football. Just coming back inside to make sure he blocks out his defender, Tyler Richardson, and doesn't let him cut underneath that.
Well, a huge day if you were smart enough to put him in your fantasy lineup. Low cost, big return. From the 26, Harris, A.J. Ouellette, look out! Oh, he stays on his feet! And now he pushes it ahead!
That gets you fired up. I don't care if you're on defense watching that play. You're looking at A.J. Ouellette and you're loving this. You're saying, he took a hit here, and it was almost a blind shot. Adrian Green's coming up. He doesn't know he's there yet. Just bounces right off that. That's the other thing that A.J. Ouellette brings, other than his yardage when he's carrying the football. He brings this attitude that is infectious to the team. Gets them fired up.
Friendly fire there on Jaden Grant, I believe, at the end of the play. And he's walking off the field.
Activate Thor and big things happen.
4 yards on the ground, but 44 through the air for A.J. Ouellette. Riders in the red zone. 64% inside the 20. Coming into this one. They work from the Calgary 15. Hand it off. Kadeem Carey, I believe, taking it down. Picks up 3 or 4 on his first touch of the ball game.
Against a run blitz, just to get 4 is a positive for this offense.
Carey remains in, stands to the right of his quarterback, Trevor Harris. 2nd and 6 for the Riders. Will they look to the end zone again? Harris in trouble, gets it away. Catch is made short of a first down.
Lots of time, but decision time for Corey Mace here. They're going to be a couple of yards short.
Offense stays on the field. 3rd and 3. Trevor Harris looking to find a way to a first down. Maybe a little bit more.
He's trying to draw him off sides. Probably take the field goal. Nope.
They're going to go. Harris under pressure. Now Trevor's on the run. He's in trouble and he's taken down. Turnover on downs. Stampeders defense does it again. Clarence Hicks leading the way.
Yeah, there's so much time left. It looked like the strategy was going to be leave your offense out, try and get the free first down by drawing with your snap count, with your cadence, drawing the defensive line off sides. That didn't work, but then they went ahead and ran a play. This go down as another turnover with a chance to get points.
Would have been down 11 if they'd taken the field goal. Down 14.
Still 2
anyway, right?
Yeah, but we're talking...
Long way to go, yeah.
We're talking 10 possessions.
Adams hands it off to Mills. Malik Carney got a piece of him.
So much time that if that scenario happened in the second quarter, would you have taken the points then? Of course you would have.
Yeah.
No brainer.
Final play of the third quarter. Loading here for Adams. He's 22 yards away from his 6th career 400-yard game. Riders are going to bring 8. Adams has enough time to get it away, and what a pass! That was picture perfect from Philpott. Wow.
What a throw.
Can't get any better than that.
You can't cover it any better, I'll tell you that. Wow, what a throw.
390 yards through 3 quarters for Vernon Adams Jr. He's got a 14-point lead. Lots of football still to go here with the fourth quarter. Just around the corner, Calgary leads 24-10, and 2 young receivers really having career games.
Yeah, Joe Robustelli is what, at 124? And Damian Alford, rookie, coming in and playing for Calgary. He's been on the roster. He's going to stay on the roster, but I don't know how you take him out of the starting lineup. What is he at, 147?
142.
142. Couple of touchdowns for Alford. You always hear teams and players talk about when one of the star receivers or star players go down, it's next man up, next man's opportunity. And when you get that opportunity, try to make the best of it. Robustelli, of course, is in year 2, but very limited playing time coming into this one. 2 young guys making a mark.
Stampeders with the ball in their own 30. And a nice cushion as the fourth quarter gets underway. There's Alford again. Tackled by Brooks, who he torched earlier in the game.
Now, having said that, better quarter for the Saskatchewan offense. But this matchup, Antoine Brooks in there for Tavon Campbell. Got beat deep on that third quarter touchdown by Alford. And played off there. Give him a little bit more room there on that short intermediate route.
3-yard pickup that time. 7 left to go. BA, Tevin Jones, first down Calgary. Second catch of the game for Tevin Jones. And VA now over 400 yards passing. That's his 6th career 400-yard game.
And missed a couple of throws. And when I say that, I mean, you saw, remember when he was in the third quarter with that corner route, was another 30, 40 yards right there. And we've got a quarter to play. He might get to 5. He might get to 5.
His career high is 488. That's certainly in play. Franchise record is 556. Doug Flutie in 93. Have to have a great quarter to get there. And now they'll hand it off. Redwell
great tackle.
Got it into the hands of their returner, Horton, and Antoine Brooks. Best play of the game for him.
Yeah, it is. And that's how you get rid of the bad demons, the mental demons from getting beat in the third quarter. Get rid of them by making a play. And it doesn't have to be a play down the field like an interception. It could be a play like this. It was a well-executed reverse. And that's just an outstanding open field tackle. Cutting down Kalen Horton.
Dedrick Mills checks back into the game at running back. Choquette out there on that last one. Loss of 3. Second and long for Adams. He's found his way out of a few of these jams so far today. Look at the time. Now he'll get it back to Alford, who pushes it ahead, and that's about a yard short of a first down. Is this Quincy Vaughn time?
Yeah, a little bit of a stunt up front, but still just 4-man pressure as they stunt their defensive linemen like this. And you see Jameer Thurman's going to add in the 5th rusher, but that protection up front, and not only protecting and blocking their guys, but washing them away so that Vernon Adams has a throwing lane, and that took so long to develop. The holes in the zone just get bigger.
Bit of a tough spot. It's going to be 3rd and 2. Dickinson was getting a long look at it, but they're not going to mess around with a 14-point lead.
Great decision.
Marty Bassett out of Colorado, the Australian kicker, 10th overall in the global draft this year. 53-yard average coming into the game. Myers takes it at the 10. Pushes it back on the 15.
Well, it's not the shot at Myers, but without Mario Alford in the game, that's an easier decision too.
Field position, taking a hit. Hey, another bright side to last night's game being pushed to today. Doubleheader. We got a doubleheader still to come. Red Blacks, Ticats. Boy, have Kenny and Bo look good together.
Oh, do they ever?
That seems unfair.
Yeah, you think Ottawa defensive staff is working on how they can make Bo Levi Mitchell throw it to someone else?
Well, the time is now here for Trevor Harris. Down 14 with 11 to play. And a good pass out to the 30.
Good start.
Finds Myers.
See the zone drop? That's Moncrief underneath. He takes that out route, and as soon as Moncrief declares which way he's going to go, Trevor Harris goes the opposite.
Kyle Wilson with the tackle for the Stampeders defense from the 35 now. And that's another first down all the way out to the 50. Duncan Busby for the first time today has a catch.
A little bit different style of defense. See, notice Calgary is backing off, giving some underneath room. This is a team that against the Bombers had 2 pick sixes, one by Moncrief, one by Webb.
Trevor Harris has his 50th career 300-yard game. A little bit more here. Out to midfield. And Robustelli has his 7th catch of the game.
Bit of a rhythm now for Trevor Harris, who's a much better third quarter than the first half offensively. I think he had under 100 yards passing in the first half. And virtually no rushing yards.
Yeah, he had 98 yards in the first half, so he's over 300 now. A.J. Ouellette will stand directly in behind his quarterback. Far side, got there in time. And Mitch Picton has caught all 6 targets thrown in his direction today.
Did have the one fumble that was ruled a fumble on Calgary's ball in the first half, but yeah, targeted on those intermediate routes. That one, a short one.
Saskatchewan on Calgary's side of the field. Ouellette pops over to the right for Harris. Stays in to protect, does his job. Oh, it's a great catch on the near side. Dante Myers gets a step on Jaden Brandt and hauls it in.
That's a great catch. That's a tough one over the shoulder. Extend like that, have to go out and get it. And the throw from Trevor Harris keeping it away from the defender.
Second and a couple. Harris throwing again. Quickly gets it away. Robustelli takes it down just outside the red zone.
Football is a game of inches. Uh-oh. Looks like Robustelli may have caught a cramp. I'll tell you what, though, football is a game of inches, and I believe it was Jacob Roberts.
Trying to stretch him out as they work on Robustelli. We will step away from Mosaic. Jacob Roberts, 6 games last year, second-year guy at Awake.
Game of inches, isn't it? Jacob Roberts is going to drop underneath this little stop route by Robustelli. Stop it here. If he takes the angle like this instead of this angle, that's an interception going to the house. But he takes a little bit shallow of an angle, is a split second late, and Robustelli says thank you.
1st and 10 from the Calgary 22. A.J. Ouellette pushing ahead. Some help from his line. And a good pickup on 1st down on the ground for the Riders.
Now the calculation, if you get held here, short of the 1st down on 2nd, changes. You're down.
You're going, right?
Now you're down and you're inside the 20 and you're looking at the clock, and Vernon Adams is throwing for almost 500 yards and you're thinking, this is my chance. By the way, that's probably one of the reasons Corey Mace decided to do it at the end of the 3rd quarter, was the way Vernon Adams has been playing.
Yeah.
Might as well take a shot now because he's putting yards on the board.
Trevor Harris, 86% passing in this half. Under pressure, gets it away to A.J. Ouellette, and that will bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. If he's going to go at about the same place at the other end at the end of the 3rd quarter, he's going now with the same deficit of 14 points.
Was a turnover on downs last time they tried to pick this up. Same 3 yards. This one from the Calgary 15. A.J. Ouellette to the left of Harris. 3 options out to his right. That's where he's going to look. That's where he throws it. He's got a man for a 1st down. Near sideline. Deshaun Mims, his 1st CFL catch, I believe.
It is, and a big one. A big one. If the Riders are going to come back in this game, they've got to finish this with a major. That catch keeps it alive. Of course, his dad, Robert, played for years in the CFL.
Harris looked in that direction again. Now he's in trouble and he's taken down. Jalen Hutchins gets home, his 3rd sack of the season.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
Your 2 interior players, big push, and Hutchins gets that inside leverage. That's basically double bull rush right up the middle, right down Main Street. Trevor can't throw hot around it. 3rd sack of the season for Jalen Hutchins.
He just walked right around Brammer. Riders call a timeout. Huge 2nd down here. Second and goal from the 17 of the Stampeders. Calgary sends 4. Harris feeling the pressure again, gets it to A.J. Ouellette. Stayed on his feet for a few extra yards, but it'll be 3rd and goal from outside the 10 for the Riders.
Boy, again, the interior of this Calgary defensive line, this time it's Miles Brown getting an excellent push and causing problems. Here's the 2 guys at defensive tackle inside. And this push, they're just bull rushing, and Trevor can't step into the throw, let alone have a clean pocket in a throwing lane.
Five and a half to play. 3rd and goal from the 12. Saskatchewan's got to have this. 3 options, wide side right for Harris. Looks to the left, under pressure again. Dumps it off. Can they find a way there? No. Moncrief and Wilson shut him down. Picton could not find a path through. And Calgary's defense. Crucial stop.
Just a reminder, at the top of the block, it's the 2nd game of our doubleheader. The Red Blacks in Hamilton to take on the Ticats. We've got that one for you on CTV. TSN 1, TSN 3 will follow suit. Just over 5 minutes to go in this one now between the Stamps and the Riders.
Should be a high-scoring game, I think. Hamilton
Hamilton, Ottawa. Brown and Mitchell slinging it around.
As I mentioned off the top, Bo was playing quarterback for Calgary last time Saskatchewan beat them in the regular season here at Mosaic.
Been over 2,500 days. Looks like they might be tacking on a few more. These two teams split the series last year with both road teams winning. Mills on the carry up the middle, takes it outside the 10.
That last offensive drive, there was a couple of missed opportunities and plays just like this one. Watch A.J. Ouellette come out. Now, in fairness to Trevor Harris in this offense, you know, Reed takes you to a certain side of the field, and they converted here with a nice throw and catch. But look at A.J. Ouellette. He catches that little swing pass. He walks in. There was a couple of plays like that in that drive. Might need to go back to it.
There's A.J. Ouellette on that last drive as well. He has 5 catches in this game, just 6 carries for 9 yards. As there's an injured Rider defender on a knee just outside the 10.
You know, but the Calgary defense, you think back to Brady Oliveira was back last week for the Bombers. He was under 100 yards. Yeah. I think they had about 80 rushing, but kept them under 100 yards. This Calgary defense is now just either, well, first of all, completely stopped A.J. Ouellette for the most part, but talked Corey Mace out of more, or Mark Mueller anyway, out of more A.J. Ouellette. And there's the rankings for the Calgary defense coming into this week, and they're improving on it.
They're doing to the Riders what they did to the Bombers last week, and then they get the Bombers again next week.
And then Montreal. The gauntlet, as Dave Dickinson called it.
That's a heck of a stretch. 2nd and 5. Flag as Adams throws.
Two
flags. See what this call is. Yeah, one on each side of the field.
Yeah. That is one area of improvement for Saskatchewan. That was a concern for Corey Mace. They've been much better tonight, or today, I should say. It was supposed to be tonight, last night.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 95. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
And that's 500 yards of offense for Calgary in this ball game.
That's another area the Stamps have been excellent at. Coming into this game after 4 starts, they were the number 2 team in the league in the penalty department. Just 50 yards a game. And the 50 yards are penalties that happen during the play, which are going to happen.
Stampeders from their own 18 as the clock ticks down to 4 minutes. Up the middle. And Mills almost took that for a first down. They stopped him a couple of yards short. 2nd and 2.
And, you know, Corey Mace was visibly irritable about these penalties when we talked to him this week. In fact, his line was excellent. He said, you know, we're getting penalties before the snap of the ball. That's kind of like getting fired from work on your day off.
That is what he said. That was a great line.
He said, we're gonna make that go away, and they've been much better at that tonight. And they're running out of time here.
Back on the ground, and there's a first down and a little bit more as Dedrick Mills late in the game looking to seal this away.
Yeah, seal it away with another win by the offensive line in the trenches. Moving people.
Calgary Stampeders 3 minutes away from first place in the West. Dedrick Mills, pretty warm day here actually. It's ended up being a beautiful afternoon. Look at him trying to cool down.
Oh yeah. And the break and the 3-minute warning long enough for him to get that rest and get back out there.
side 3. Vernon Adams will work from his own 42. Mills again found enough space to pick up close to 6 on that carry.
So one carry for Choquette that got 11 yards. Mills is adding to his total, which was at 77. This against the #1 defense in the league against the run.
As a team, they're over 100 yards rushing. The Riders allowed, coming into this game, just 66.5 yards per game on the ground.
But it wasn't the run game to initiate the offensive output from Calgary. It was Vernon Adams slinging it, and then the run game complementing that offense.
Riders going to bring some pressure. VA deep in the pocket. Tevin Jones takes it, pushes it ahead. And that's going to be close, but maybe a foot short of a first down.
You know what Vernon Adams doesn't get enough credit for is his arm strength. I don't hear people saying that he's got a cannon, but he throws, and when he releases the ball, he can throw from such different arm angles. Sometimes he won't turn that off shoulder towards the target, and he'll just strong arm it out there, and it gets there in such a hurry. I mean, that was a little hitch pass, but he's got tremendous arm strength.
Third and inches for Quincy Vaughn. And Vaughn pushes it ahead for the first down. Let's talk about some quarterbacks with Luke Wilson.
Yeah, Dustin, you talked about Vernon Adams Jr., and he's been incredible today. And one thing that stuck out to me is the veteran leadership and the poise. What I mean by that is you look at the first play of the game here, it's not exactly what you draw up. He throws interception. You think this guy gets rattled? Absolutely not. He has been utterly stellar since then. You know, we went over this earlier, and when you watch these plays, watch his head movement and his eyes, because these are not first reads. Again, he's manipulating defense. Boom, he sees what he needs to see, comes back, slings an absolute seed for a touchdown. Again, watch the eyes here. Play action, roll out. We're drawing defenders in. We're going over the top. To me, when I say veteran leadership, it's not just the poise of getting over that interception, but also being able to come up here pre-snap, read what the defense is giving you, and then manipulate them into making the right throws. I mean, he's well over 400 yards right now, and to be honest, could be closer to 5. I've been really impressed with this guy today, and they certainly have dominated this game from the beginning to the very end.
And you know what, Luke? I used to hate that. As a former safety, I hated when the quarterback was looking me off and messing around with his eyes.
Suits, you said it. And whenever you see a quarterback doing that stuff, that's how you know he's really comfortable back there.
Yeah.
Because he's reading the DBs and he knows what your rules are. So he's kind of using them against it. Like, hey, I know he's supposed to be covering this. I stare at it. He's going to jump it, and I'm going to go right over his head or right beside him. He's been phenomenal today.
One of those days for Vernon Adams, isn't it? One of the best days of his career with the numbers that he's put up. Great breakdown there from Luke. And I'll hand it off to Mills. VA's completed 7 in a row. Since that interception, he went 28 of 35 for 428 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did throw another interception, but that was deflected right at the line and fluttered into the hands of C.J. Rivas.
And there's no question on both sides of the ball, Calgary won the line of scrimmage in this game this afternoon.
Seconds remaining. Mills finds a hole. Flags fly as he picks up a first down. And is this going to be coming back?
Let's see what this penalty is, but boy, it's when everyone knows you're running the ball to kill the clock and end the game. You know you're blocking up front when basically the Riders put everybody at the line of scrimmage saying, I know you're running, you're trying to kill the game here, so let's fill the line of scrimmage, try to stop it, and they didn't, although it looks like there will be a holding.
Calgary is backing up here. Officials still discussing. Here we go.
There were 2 fouls on the previous play. Illegal block, walking below the waist, Calgary number 19. That penalty is declined. Holding, Calgary number 65. It's 10-yard penalty. We'll repeat second down.
All right, so it'll be 2nd and 18. There's the one.
That's the low block. And there was a holding at the point of attack up there to the right, to the arch to the left of your screen, I should say.
Adams will bring Vaughn in to block. Choquette will take it. Nice move. And he's taken down at midfield. His 2nd carry of the ball game.
Yeah, Dave Dickinson called it the gauntlet. That was before they faced the Winnipeg Blue Bombers last week. He said, we've got the gauntlet coming up. We're going to know who we are or what we need to work on, certainly, at the end of the next 4 weeks when they have the Bombers, who they beat 37-16. Didn't give up 20 points against Zach Collaros and that Bomber offense. Saskatchewan at 10 points, improving on that in the 2nd game of the gauntlet, and then they'll go back to Winnipeg.
Myers waits just inside his own 10. Bassett gets it away. Myers has to take a couple steps over to his right. Takes it cleanly. Short return back up to the 20 with 51 seconds on the clock. What a statement for the Calgary Stampeders in back-to-back weeks. On the verge of a 4-1 start. Adams sitting at 428. Just a monstrous first half.
Ball is in flight. Holding. Saskatchewan, number 47. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
When we talk about the trenches, the other thing about this game for Vernon Adams is he's had those throwing lanes, but he was sacked one time in this game. That was a Shane Ray. Remember, that was the one he tripped.
Yeah, that's right.
He was about to escape and get out on the outside, and he tripped on his way out. Shane Ray was the closest, and I think he did get his hand on him, but that was the only time the Riders got to him.
And that is close to a first down. Robustelli, who cramped up earlier.
There's a bright spot.
Big time.
Big time.
Losing Mario Alford, not a bright spot.
No.
But Robustelli has emerged. Trevor Harris working on another game of 70% completion, which would tie a league record that he already holds with Dane Evans.
Doesn't look like Tyler Richardson went down there in the corner for the Stamps.
Here's the updated West Division standings. Calgary moves into first place. Both them and the Riders at 4-1. Winnipeg at 3-1 on a bye. And then a really important game tomorrow between Edmonton and BC as the Elks will try to
get in the race.
In the thick of it a little bit. Yeah.
Get in the race. Two Canadian quarterbacks going at it there in Nathan Rourke and Trey Ford.
Second meeting of the season between those two clubs. Richardson remains down on the field here. So Corey Mace, it'll be interesting. You know, in a football mad market like this loss will not be taken lightly, but you're still 4-1 in your first 5 games, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And your quarterback's healthy. The Riders will have the BC Lions in BC for their next game. We've got a couple more games against the West before they go on a bit of a 2-week Eastern. There's Mario Alford.
He got his ankle rolled up on a return earlier in the game.
And a quick thank you to all the staff here in Saskatchewan that did a really nice job. We got some food in the long delay. I know so a lot of the crew did. They were taking care of people. I know that Craig Reynolds and the Riders are going to do everything they can to help all the season ticket holders and ticket holders that had tickets for last night's game that was played this afternoon to work with how they're either going to get their money back or another game, or they're going to figure that all out. But they are going to take care of all the fans. And there was, again, about 10 to 12,000 of them at 11 o'clock at night hoping that game would be kicked off.
There for something special.
Yeah, it would have been
kick
cool.
It off at 11:15. You never see that again, probably.
Yeah. So they
look at the faith, eh? He remains strong. Kermit still cheering for this club.
And there's a couple guys back there in Pill Country that are still standing, which I do not understand.
Could barely stand last night, but back again today. Harris finds A.J. Ouellette, and A.J. Ouellette's got a first down. You know what's funny here? Trevor Harris is creeping up to a 400-yard game as well.
Well, I had a good third quarter, but in key moments, the Calgary Stampeders made the stops. I mean, wasn't even a real lopsided turnover game. Both teams took their turns turning the ball over. But a lot of underneath stuff from Trevor Harris. Not a lot of deep shots. Ed Robustelli on the deep one for a touchdown.
Quiet day for Keyshawn Johnson. Harris dumps it off, and that's going to be pushed ahead. And that was Keyshawn Johnson. And I believe that's enough for a 400-yard game for Trevor Harris. He needed 12. That was close. He's had 7 career 400-yard games, 17 straight completions here for Trevor Harris. He is at 403 yards, and they've only got 10 points. Harris down the field even further, and that will be taken down just outside the 35.
Well, I don't know how long you have to wait before you start to say that a team is for real, but I'm going to do it right now. The Calgary Stampeders are for real. I mean, there was a lot of doubters, this team, and they all talked about it in their pregame interviews, all of them, saying, yeah, no one picked us to do anything in the West Division. But we know what we've got in our locker room. And they've got some talent, some young guys, and they've got the quarterback that is the straw that stirs the drink. To stay in the theme of last night.
Riders are going to take a field goal attempt here and put a few points on the board. They only play one more time this season.
Yeah, so points for and against.
These points could end up making a difference, which is why they'll attempt a field goal with zeros on the clock. And Lothar misses it. And it'll be brought out by Horton. And that's going to do it. Calgary Stampeders, how about this? First in the West with a convincing 24-10 victory in Regina over the Riders. Thank you for being with us last night. Thank you for being with us today. Let's send it to Laura and the panel.
All right, now that the Stamps Riders game is in the books, we start to look ahead to our second game of the doubleheader. It's Hamilton and Ottawa, the Ticats and the Red Blacks. Week 6 continuing as these two teams will kick off the home and home next.